Mamoru is a passionate goalkeeper who dreams of winning tournaments with his small soccer team, until mysterious aliens attack his school and beat them 17-0, leaving his friends hurt and hopeless on the field. From that terrible loss, Mamoru goes from being an ordinary goalkeeper to becoming the captain who leads Japan to win the World Championship. However, before any of this, inside the soccer clubhouse, Mamoru tries to convince the other players to practice for the upcoming Football Frontier tournament and explains that training together is important for the team. However, none of the players show any interest, which makes Mamoru very angry, so he leaves the clubroom in frustration. Outside the clubhouse, Mamoru continues to practice soccer by himself when Kino walks up to him and asks why no one else is practicing with him. Mamoru tells her that the others will join sooner or later because they love soccer just as much as he does. Later that afternoon, Mamoru practices with several junior students, and during the session, one boy kicks the ball too hard and almost hits two other boys standing nearby. Mamoru immediately tells them to return the ball, but one boy reacts badly and kicks Mamoru, saying that Mamoru comes from a soccer club that barely has any members at all. One of the boys then spits on the ball and shoots it towards a girl, but a boy appears out of nowhere and kicks the ball back. The next day, the same boy from yesterday enrolls in Mamoru's school, and it is soon revealed that his name is Shuya and that he comes from Kadakawa school, which excites Mamoru and makes him feel eager to play with him. Later on, Mamoru is called to the principal's office, but when he arrives, he is shocked to find the principal's daughter, Natsumi, waiting there instead. She tells him that he must gather a full team of 11 members and win a practice match against Tikoku Gakuen, a team that has held a championship streak for 40 years, and he has only a week to prepare. After hearing this, Mamoru returns to the clubroom to try to convince the other players to join, but everyone doubts their chances and thinks they will only end up humiliated and completely beaten in the match. That same afternoon, Mamoru meets Shuya and asks him to join the team, hoping he will help them, but Shuya refuses and turns down his request. Mamoru continues his training, but then, Kazemaru and the others decided to join his team. It's the day of the match and Mamoru introduces Max and Jean to the team. The warm-up between Tikoku and Raimon finally begins with Kidu from Tikoku shooting the ball at Mamoru, who successfully catches it. Before the official match could begin, Kidu asks Mamoru that he would miss one member of his team. Kino then brings a boy who has one condition before he could join the team, and that is he won't wear any uniform except number 10. Mamoru quickly agrees to his condition, so they can finally have a complete team. At the same time, Kabiyama goes to washroom, but he doesn't return, so Mamoru and the others go to look for him. Eventually, they find him trapped inside a locker room and he tells his team that he got a little scared, so he ran away. Afterward, the match begins with Tikoku completely dominating in the first half, and Tikoku even manages to win first point in mere seconds as Mamoru failed to catch the ball. After that, the second half begins with Team Tikoku shooting balls with various techniques at Mamoru, even though he is already injured. Kidu then says that if Shuya does not play in the match, they will destroy Mamoru completely. After that, they kept aiming for Mamoru, but Kazemaru just jumps in front of him and takes the shot instead. With this, Tikoku scored 19 points, and now, it's Raimon's turn to kick off, but no one is standing except Megane, who also gives up on the match and takes off his t-shirt. Shuya then picks up the t-shirt and joins the game with the intent of stopping Kidu from attacking Mamoru. Shuya then picks up the t-shirt and decides to join Team Raimon. The match then continues with Kidu throwing Death Zone technique, but Mamoru managed to block the shot using God Hand technique and throws it back to Shuya, who then scores using Fire Tornado. Team Tikoku then forfeits the match. That gets Raimon their first win. The next day, Mamoru tells everyone that they got no physical strength, so he discusses some points through that their physical strength can improve. The team then starts arguing with each other over Mamoru not sure if he could bring Shuya back. Just then, Natsumi arrives at the clubroom and informs them that their next opponent is Occult Junior High. The team gets excited, but Natsumi tells them that if they lose this time, the soccer club will immediately disband. Later, Principal asks Natsumi if she told the team about conditions of the match, but she replies that she didn't. However, the principal gets scared after reading a letter sent by Occult High that says, if they don't accept their challenge, they will be cursed. Team Raimon is practicing, and during that, Samoka seems to be struggling and making fouls. Otanashi then arrives to watch the team practice, but when she finds out they are playing against Occult next, she gets scared. She then tells everyone the frightening rumors surrounding Occult, which includes having their opponent catch a high fever 3 days after the match, have gusts of wind blow upon on them, and have their legs stop when making a goal. Hearing that, everyone gets worried, but Mamoru and the others try to encourage themselves. After that, Mamoru continues his practice, but Kazemaru also joins him. Mamoru and Kazemaru talk about Shuya and how everyone in the team wants him back. The next day, Mamoru follows Shuya to a hospital where he is visiting his sister who has been in a coma since a car accident. Eventually, Otanashi becomes team manager and everyone just practices hard to overcome their drawbacks. Shuya watches them practice but Natsumi approaches him, convincing him to join the team because his sister loves soccer. The next day, Shuya decides to join the team but Samoka feels angry because he does not want another striker on the team. Both of them gather on the field, where Occult's coach says that he only cares about Shuya. Hearing this, Samoka becomes even more furious and says that their real opponent is not just Shuya but the entire team playing together. Soon after, the match begins, and Samoka quickly scores a goal by using his powerful Hisatsu Dragon Crash technique. The game continues, and Samoka once again scores another goal with the same technique, which greatly annoys and frustrates Team Occult. Occult's coach never imagines that there would be another striker like Samoka, someone they have no records or information about, which makes their strategy start to fall apart. Team Occult's coach then starts chanting some kind of incantation which gets his team Raiman to get stuck in the place. Occult manages to score their first goal but Raiman does not give up and keeps pushing forward as they try to score as well, only to be stopped by Occult's goalkeeper. Team Occult then uses the same strange incantation strategy again, trapping the Raiman players in place and scoring another point without much resistance. When halftime finally arrives, the Raiman team is still confused and unsure about the incantation method the other team keeps using. Mamoru tries to motivate everyone by telling them that they must understand and break the technique while the match is still going on. As the second half begins, Team Occult once again uses the same incantation technique but this time Mamoru reacts quickly and says random loud words to break the rhythm. Mamoru then explains to his teammates that the incantation was actually a form of hypnosis meant to control their movement and focus. On the other hand, Shuya realizes that Occult's goalkeeper is using another technique. So when he receives the ball he uses his fire tornado to score a goal. Later that night, at the Football Frontier team selection, there is going to be a draw where 14 teams are going against each other including Raiman who is going to go against Team Nosey Junior High. The next day, Mamoru is all fired up because of the Football Frontier but then, everyone gets introduced to a new guy named Doman who wants to join their team. Doman tells them that he has played against Nosey in his previous junior high and they are one of best in terms of both raw power and mobility. Hearing that, Shuya also says that he has fought them well and they are better than Tikoku. Later, the team continued their practice but a driver told Mamoru that he saw his match against Occult and thought that it was as if Inazuma 11 had come back from the dead. Mamoru doesn't seem to know about Inazuma 11, so the old man tells him that 40 years back, the Inazuma 11 was hailed as Raiman Junior High's legendary soccer team and the team's coach was Mamoru's grandfather. Later that evening, Mamoru asks his mother about his grandfather but she doesn't reply to him. The next day, everyone continues practicing but none of them are able to learn a new Hisatsu technique before the match against Nosey. That evening, Mamoru decides to go to Rariken to talk about strategies with the team. While there, Mamoru, Shuya, and Kazumaru receive some information about Inazuma 11's secret technique manual but the chief is shocked when he finds out that Mamoru is Daisuke's grandson. At the same time, Natsumi manages to find the notebook for them, but she cannot read anything in it at all. Everyone tries to understand it, but no one can make sense of the writing except for Mamoru. He reads aloud the description of a Hisatsu technique called Inazuma Otoshi, though even then, no one fully understands what it means. During practice, Shuya studies the description and finally figures out what it actually means. Seeing this, Mamoru decides to pair Shuya and Kabiyama together to train for the new Hisatsu technique, and they begin their special, focused training to master it. Afterward, everyone starts practicing for the upcoming Football Frontier including Shuya and Kabiyama who are going through special training for their new Hisatsu technique. Kabiyama seems to be having issues with landing because he is scared of heights. Kino tells him to look at Shuya when he lands, so he gives another try but he still fails miserably. Just then, Natsumi says that all the work she did for them looks like a waste but Mamoru tells her, he has faith that Shuya and Kabiyama will complete the Inazuma Otoshi. After that, they make Kabiyama practice all kinds of trainings, so that he can overcome his fear of landings. The team then continues practicing Oswell but later that afternoon, Kabiyama sees Shuya practicing with Mamoru. Team Raiman then prays for themselves as Shuya visiting his sister and Mamoru promising his grandfather that they are going to win Football Frontier that is starting tomorrow. The next day, Team Raiman arrives at Nosey Junior High and feels shocked when they see a huge crowd cheering loudly for the Nosey team. When the match starts, Shuya quickly takes a shot using his fire tornado but Tori manages to steal the ball. The ball then passes to Tori's teammates, who attack together by using the Condor dive and Tarzan kick techniques, but Mamoru successfully blocks the powerful shot with his Neketsu punch. After that, the ball reaches Samoka but Shishu suddenly tackles him very hard, which ends up injuring Samoka's leg. Because of this, Raimon replaces Samoka with Domon and pushes Kabiyama forward to strengthen the attack. Kabiyama and Shuya try to use their combined move, Inazuma Otoshi, but their first attempt fails and does not score. As the match continues, Mamoru's hands begin to hurt badly from blocking so many shots as the goalkeeper. Seeing this, Kabiyama gathers his courage and attempts Inazuma Otoshi once again, and this time the move works perfectly, scoring the deciding goal. With that goal, Team Raimon wins the match and celebrates their hard-earned victory. Later, a mysterious team is using simulation to understand Raimon's data and techniques of each player, training according to it. At the same time, Raimon is practicing as usual while a bunch of people are watching them from the bridge. Mamoru then tells everyone that they have to train more on their Hisatsu techniques, but then, Natsumi arrives and tells them that practicing Hisatsu is forbidden. Shuya then tells everyone that the people watching are not their fans but spies from other junior high schools. Mamoru suggests that they should practice somewhere where no one can see them. That night, Kidu approaches two people and asks if they are going to spy on Raimon. Kidu tells them that he will give some data they don't have and he is only doing it because he wants to help them. The next day, Team Raimon continues their regular practice on the field, but this time their training is suddenly interrupted when two huge trucks arrive nearby, surprising everyone. When the trucks open, the same two players from the previous day step out, and it becomes clear that they have come to secretly observe and spy on Raimon's skills and teamwork. Kino's friend then explains to the team that these players belong to their next opponents, Mikage Senu, and she introduces them as Shimazuru Arata and Sugimori Takashi. Practice continues as usual, but Arata and Takashi quietly watch and begin to wonder why Raimon is not using any of their special Hisatsu techniques during training. Wanting to see their real strength, Mamoru confidently challenges them to a quick practice match, but even during the game, Raimon struggles more than expected, even while using their Hisatsu techniques. Later that same day, Natsumi gathers everyone outside a strange and mysterious door at Raimon Junior High that has never been opened before. She then leads the team inside and explains that this hidden place is the secret training facility once used by the legendary Inazuma 11. As everyone begins their intense training inside the facility, Mamoru looks more excited than anyone else, clearly enjoying the challenge and the chance to grow stronger. Afterward, the match between Raimon and Mikage Senu begins. Mikage Senu using defense formation Gamma 3 technique. Mikage's defense predicted Shuya's movements but he ends up passing the ball to Samoka. When Samoka fires Dragon Crash, the shot loses power as it passes through the defensive line, allowing Takashi to catch it easily. Takashi then tells everyone that their attack patterns are exactly as the data states and because of that, they are able to make easy predictions. The match then continues with Shuya using his Fire Tornado to shoot the ball at Takashi but he uses Shoot Pocket technique to block it. The ball then gets to Samoka who uses Dragon Tornado Kick along with Shuya's Fire Tornado but this time Takashi barely catches the ball. Shuya and Kabiyama then attacks with Inazuma Otoshi but Takashi uses Rocket Kabushi to block it. The ball then gets to Yamagishi of Mikage who then shoots the ball which Mamoru manages to block but Yamagishi again head bumps it, which gets his team a point. In the second half of the match, Mikage Senu keeps control of the ball for most of the time, making it hard for Raimon to attack properly. During the play, Arata uses his Patriot shoot but Mamoru manages to block the powerful shot and keeps Raimon in the game. Soon after, Raimon gets a corner kick and at that moment, Mamoru and Shuya use a Hisatsu technique called Inazuma 1 Go, which scores a goal and ties the match. After this, Raimon continues to attack without slowing down, and not long later they manage to score another goal by using the Dragon Tornado, which changes the score to 2-1 in their favor. Seeing that his team is now losing, Mikage Senu's coach disconnects the control wires attached to the players, causing the team to lose their coordination and start playing badly. Even so, Sugimori removes the remaining wires by himself and loudly encourages his teammates to keep fighting using their own strength instead of relying on control. After many intense attacks and counterattacks from both sides, Sugimori finally fires a powerful shot toward the goal, but Mamoru blocks it using his God Hand technique. With that save, the match comes to an end, and Raimon wins the game. It turns out that Shuya won't be playing in the semifinals because of his injury but Mamoru tells everyone not to be disheartened and continue their practice. Later, Kino tells everyone that the next match will be between Occult and Shuyu Maido Academy, so whoever is going to win will be their opponent. Kino says that Shuyu is viewed as the weakest team among all participants in the football frontier but then, she gets surprised to read something. She explains that even on the day before their match against Occult, they spent it entirely at Maid Cafe. Just then, another girl tells them that Occult actually lost to Shuya, which surprises everyone and makes them curious about the team's strength. Megane Kakeru then suggests that they should visit a maid cafe where Shuyu Maido's team often hangs out, so they can try to learn more about them. Later, Team Raimon goes to the maid cafe, looking for any information about Shuyu Maido Academy and its players. While exploring the place, Megane notices a large collection of manga and quickly starts learning as much as he can from it. As he continues looking around, he discovers what he believes is the greatest manga ever written in history, which is said to be written by Noboru Rado and illustrated by Manga Mo. At that moment, two players from Shuyu Maido approach him, revealing that they are actually Noboru Rado and Manga Mo themselves, surprising Megane even more. The next day, the match between Team Raimon and Shuyu Maido begins, but neither team is able to score a single point. The first half ends with the score still at 0 and the game feels tense and slow. In the second half, Shuyu Maido suddenly changes the way they move and play, and this new style helps them break through Raimon's defense and score the first goal of the match. After that, Raimon tries to respond quickly and Samoka gets the ball and runs straight toward the opponent's goalkeeper with full speed. However, the Shuyu Maido players use a sneaky trick to block Samoka's vision, making it hard for him to see the goal clearly. At that moment, Megane steps in and uses his deep manga knowledge to understand the trick and stop it. Megane then takes control of the ball and uses his special technique to dodge past all the opposing players one by one. After that, he passes the ball to Samoka at the perfect time, allowing Samoka to score a goal and tie the match. Samoka continues attacking and later scores another goal. The match ends with Raimon winning thanks to Samoka's 2 goals and strong teamwork. Later that evening, everyone decides to eat something from their famous place except for Doman, who gets a call from someone. After the call, Doman feels bad about betraying the team and starts walking when Truckkuin nearly hits him. The next day, Doman heads back to the clubroom to steal the training results of the Inabikari training center, but he doesn't, so he walks away. On his way back, Doman notices a guy doing something with the school buses, so he confronts him, but the guy tells him not to ride the bus. Afterwards, Doman meets up with Kidu, who is desperate to get the training results, but Doman says that he doesn't even have them with him. Doman also tells him that putting a trap on the transportation bus is actually awful, but Kidu doesn't know about it either. Just then, Otanashi finds Kidu hiding and asks if he is here to spy on Raimon, but he ignores her and tries to walk away. Doman suddenly realizes the truth that Otanashi and Kidu are actually brother and sister. Later on, Mamoru and the rest of the team go together to Natsume's father's office, where they find Natsume holding a confession letter written by Doman, in which he admits everything about Fukai and what has been going on behind the scenes. After seeing this, they all head to the garage to confront Fukai directly, and Natsume fires him from his position as a teacher at the school. However, Fukai does not stay silent and reveals to everyone that the confession letter was actually written by Doman himself, and he exposes that Doman was secretly acting as a spy for Tikoku Gakuen. Doman runs away but Kino quickly follows after him, worried about how he is feeling. Later on, Natsume gathers the team and explains an important problem, telling them that Raimon currently does not have an official coach, and because of this, they might not be allowed to take part in the finals of the Football Frontier Kanto Regionals. However, the match against Tikoku is coming up in just a few days from now. The Tikoku team members are working hard during practice to perfect their special technique called Death Zone. Since Raimon fired Coach Fukai, the team does not have anyone to coach them anymore, and this situation might lead to their disqualification from the tournament, which some of the boys think is Natsume's fault and blame her for it. Mamoru tries his best to motivate and encourage the other players to start searching and looking for a new coach before the game happens, but the others seem really down and discouraged about everything. The team members believe that they cannot just hire any random person to be their coach because it is too important. Kajino scares and frightens everyone who is in the room with his dark and creepy aura surrounding him. After realizing that Kajino knows about Daisuke's special notebook, Shuya gets an idea and suggests to Mamoru that they should ask Hibiki Sigu, the owner of the Rareiken shop, to become their new coach, so they decide to do exactly that. However, when they ask him, Hibiki does not show any interest at all in becoming their coach and rejects their proposal right away. To try to convince him to change his mind, Mamoru brings up the fact that Hibiki knows about the secret manual, and Doman mentions that Hibiki might have played soccer with Mamoru's grandfather a long time ago. Despite hearing all of this, Hibiki still is not convinced to join their team and tries to scare them by warning that being a legendary team will only bring them disaster and bad things. He tells the kids that if they do not order any food, they need to leave his restaurant immediately. Mamoru wants to order a bowl of ramen noodles, but he realizes he left his wallet in the clubroom, so Hibiki throws all of them out. The next day, everyone arrives at the massive stadium for their match, but Hibiki asks everyone to check around to make sure there are no traps. They finally arrived at their locker room where Kidu was already looking around, but everyone thought that he might be doing something wrong in the room. However, Kidu tells them that there is nothing wrong in the room, so they can rest. He then goes out to the field to check that as well, but he finds nothing suspicious. Just then, Otanashi arrives and tells Domon that she is here because she suspects something is wrong, and she makes it clear that she does not trust him at all. Back in the locker room, Mamoru tries to calm everyone down by telling them that Kidu is not going to do anything wrong and that they can trust him to play honestly during the match. Just before the game starts, Kidu notices a hidden trap and quickly alerts Mamoru, which lets the Raimon team narrowly avoid being crushed by the steel construction beams that were about to fall from the ceiling. They manage to escape safely, but only by a very small margin. Afterward, because of the clear evidence found at the scene, Kageyama is arrested by the authorities, yet he keeps smiling in a strange and sinister way even as he is led away. Kidu is completely determined to win the game so he can get Otanashi back, and this worries Mamoru a lot because he knows how serious it is. If Kidu loses the match, he will lose Otanashi forever, and thinking about this makes Mamoru lose his focus and concentration during the game. As a result, he struggles to block the powerful Hisatsu techniques that are aimed at him, which put the team in danger. Meanwhile, Kidu creates a brand new Hisatsu technique designed to break through Mamoru's God Hand, and when he uses it, it actually works, piercing through the goalkeeper's defense successfully. The Raimon defenders quickly step in and use their own bodies to block the shots and protect the goal while Mamoru is distracted by his worries. During this chaos, Domon jumps in to save a shot and ends up injuring himself badly, forcing him to be substituted off the field so the team can continue playing. Shuya decides to hit Mamoru with his fire tornado technique to get him to focus on the game properly, and this wakes him up completely so he is able to block Twin Boost with his brand new Bakuretsu punch technique. Shuya and Samoka manage to score a goal together using Dragon Tornado, breaking through Power Shield at very close range to the goal. With Mamoru now fully focused and determined to win the game, he successfully blocks Kuriai Penguin 2 Go and helps score using a new Hisatsu technique called Inazuma 1 Go Otoshi, breaking through Genda's full Power Shield move. Raimon successfully won the District Finals Championship game against Tikoku. Raimon claims victory after 40 long years of waiting, ending Tikoku's winning streak completely and earning them a spot in the national tournament competition. Afterward, the team decides to head to Hibiki's ramen shop to celebrate their victory, as they all are excited to think they will be able to fight them again on the big stage. Natsumi then tells them that the winners from the previous tournament are put together in a separate block from the rest, but Mamoru gets excited for the finals again with Tikoku. The team then enjoys their food, and with the celebration comes to an end. Mamoru then helps Hibiki wash dishes, but then, a homeless-looking guy walks inside the shop. Hibiki quickly recognizes the guy as Yukishima, who an old member of the Inazuma 11 team is. Hibiki suggests and proposes a match between the current Raimon team versus the old Inazuma 11 team, and Mamoru feels excited and happy about this idea. The match starts off pretty easy and simple for the current Raimon team, since the legendary Inazuma 11 players are not taking the match seriously at all during the game. Seeing how the Raimon players are disappointed, Hibiki tells everyone how these children who play for Raimon looked up to them as heroes, saw them as a goal in their future careers, and wanted to be just like them someday. The old Inazuma 11 team realizes how important the match really is to these kids and finally starts taking it seriously and putting in real effort. Because of playing in this match together, everyone gets an idea for a brand new Hisatsu technique called Hanu no Kazumidori, and the old legendary Inazuma 11 team teaches them exactly how to use it properly. Kazumaru and Shuya finally succeed and master the difficult Hisatsu technique after many attempts and tries to get it right. The next day, everyone gets fired up to see Hisatsu technique of Shuya and Kazumaru, but then, the chairman himself arrives at the field. The chairman is pleased to see everyone and looks forward for more passionate gameplays in the nationals. Before leaving, the chairman asks others if they want a new clubroom, but after Hibiki says that they are in the same room that the Inazuma 11 used by showing the writing on the wall, which included writing by their coach Mamoru Daisuke. The chairman then says that he wants to gift everyone a new clubroom, but Mamoru refuses, saying this clubroom is everything they had before and it represents Raimon 11's history itself. Later that day, a boy named Miyasaka approaches Kazumaru, asking when he will come back to them. Kazumaru then tells Mamoru that he will catch up with them later and goes to meet other players who was with Miyasaka. Kazumaru then decides to race with Miyasaka and the others, but he ends up beating all of them. The next day, Kazemaru practices as usual, but this time Miyasaka joins him and tries to convince him to come back to their club, but Kazemaru tells him that he should watch the match tomorrow. Soon, everyone gets to the Football Frontier Stadium where all the team gathers on the field. Unexpectedly, the commentator tells everyone to welcome Zeus Junior High onto the field, but everyone is shocked to see that they will not be taking part in today's opening ceremony. On the following day, Hibiki gathers everyone together and informs the team that their next official match will be against Sengoku Igajima, which immediately grabs everyone's attention. Sometime later, Otanashi shares important information by explaining that Sengoku Igajima's coach, Igajima Senichi, is believed to be a descendant of real ninjas, and it is widely rumored that the team uses secret ninja techniques as part of their special training methods. After hearing this, Kino steps forward and tells the team that she received an email from Natsumi, in which Natsumi sends meaningful and encouraging words, praising everyone for their hard work and effort so far. Motivated by this message, Raimon begins their practice session with renewed energy and focus. During the practice, an unexpected event occurs when a mysterious boy suddenly steals the ball from Shuya and boldly challenges him to a one-on-one match. The boy then introduces himself as Kirigakure Saiji from Sengoku Igajima. Although Shuya refuses to accept the challenge, Kazemaru decides to step in and accept it instead after noticing Miyasaka watching from the audience. Soon after, a dribbling duel begins between Kazemaru and Kirigakure, but in the middle of their match, two other boys suddenly appear and steal the ball from both of them. They apologize for Kirigakure's rude behavior before disappearing, leaving everyone shocked. Not long after this strange incident, the actual match begins, and Kirigakure uses his ninja-like techniques to shoot the ball toward Mamoru, who successfully manages to catch it. The ball then gets to Team Raimon. But Team Sengoku uses their ninja technique to split around the field, and this makes it a one-sided game completely, and in the process injures Mamoru's right hand badly, making it almost unusable for playing. The first half ends with Sengoku Igajima in the lead with 1 point. During the second half, Kirigakure uses his Satsu technique to shoot the ball that Mamoru fails to catch, but Kazemaru manages to block the score. The match then continues with Kazemaru and Shuya using their Hanu no Kazemidori technique together and scores a goal. By the end of the match, Shuya manages to score another goal that gets Raimon their victory. Later, Miyasaka tells Kazemaru that he understands that Kazemaru now belongs with soccer. The next day, Kino and Mamoru visit Natsumi at the hospital to check on her and her father. Natsumi states and says that her father is fine and recovering well. After they tell her that they won the match against Sengoku, she appears really happy and excited about the news, but she gets shocked when she sees Mamoru's injured hand. Team Raimon then continues with their training, so that they could be better, but then, Otanashi rushes to them, saying Tikoku lost to Zeus with a score of 10-0. Hearing that, everyone gets shocked and asks her what really happened. She explains that Zeus scored goals one after the other using techniques that no one had ever seen before. She also reveals that her brother Kidu didn't play in the match because he got injured when he fought Raimon. Mamoru gets furious and rushes to meet Kidu on the field, who asks him if he is here to laugh at him. Kidu gets sad and says that his soccer career is over, but Mamoru tries to encourage him. At Kidu's house, Mamoru feels very surprised and shocked when he sees how large and grand the house is compared to what he expected. Kidu then shows Mamoru his collection of soccer magazines, explaining that they are his most important memories and the only thing he has left to remember his father, whom he still misses deeply. Later on, Shuya and Kidu face each other in a heated practice battle, both trying to outdo one another with their skills and strong determination. During this intense moment, Shuya says that he has always seen Mamoru standing in front of the goal protecting it, but he wonders what would happen if Mamoru started watching and supporting the team from behind instead of only focusing on the front. When match day finally arrives, everyone waits nervously, thinking that they might be disqualified from the tournament. Afterward, everyone asks Hibiki why he let them start the match, so he says that their new player is finally here. The player turns out to be Kidu. That shocks everyone, but Kidu tells Raimon that he will have his revenge against Zeus. Shishido gets all pumped up, but Hibiki tells him to get on the bench as Kidu is going to play instead of him. The match between Raimon and Senbayama Junior High finally begins, with Raimon's passing timing is a bit off. Since Raimon's passes are not connecting, Senbayama's using those opportunities to counterattack. The opponent team's player then shoots a shot that Mamoru manages to catch. The game continues with the ball landing to another player, who uses the Hisatsu ball run to dribble past Max and Kurimatsu. Doman tries to stop the opponent by using Killer Slide, but he fails, while Kabiyama manages to block the attack successfully by using his technique called the wall. After that, the ball goes to another player on the opposing team, who uses the Shine Dive technique and scores a goal. Following this, Kido begins giving clear instructions to everyone during the match, which helps the team improve their movement and passing. Samoka then attacks and tries to score using his Dragon Crash technique, but the goalkeeper blocks the powerful shot. Even when Samoka tries again with Dragon Crash, the goalkeeper once more stops it using the same technique. Kido then explains to the team that they have all improved a lot physically, but their different strengths and abilities are causing their passes to be uneven during the game. Later, 3 members of Senbayama use their Hisatsu technique on Max and steal the ball from him. However, Kido quickly reacts, wins the ball back with a clean slide tackle, and passes it forward to the attackers to continue the play. Samoka and Shuya try scoring with Dragon Tornado, but it gets stopped by Mugen no Cabe and the first half ends with Senbayama in the lead. Kido suggests a strategy that might help the team break through Mugen no Cabe, which Handa protests against because it is different from their usual soccer, but then he reluctantly accepts his idea. The match continues with Kido, Mamoru and Shuya creating their Inazuma break technique to break through the opponent ability and scoring their first goal. In the end, Raimon wins the match. Later, Doman and Kino are talking about Ichino's who died in an accident when he jumped in front of a truck to save a dog is actually alive. They are excited to contact him and wonders why Ichino's parents would lie about his death. On the other hand, the team is practicing when the ball gets to a boy who was watching the match. Instead of throwing, he quickly gets to the field and runs through 2 players before shooting the ball to Mamoru using his spinning shoot technique, but Mamoru blocks it. The boy tells Mamoru that he is from America and was recently chosen as a candidate to represent junior team in Japan. Just then, Kino and Doman also arrive at the field where they notice everyone around a boy. Suddenly, the boy runs forward and hugs Kino and everyone realizes that he is actually Ichino's. Ichino's then explains that he had found an earlier plane and decided to surprise Kino, but he did not expect Doman to be attending the same school at the same time. He also reveals the reason why he lied about being dead. After his surgery, the doctor told him he could never play soccer again, which made his whole world feel completely dark and hopeless. Later on, Ichino's practices more with Mamoru, showing off skills that surprise everyone on the team, because they realize his abilities are truly amazing. After some time, Ichino says that he wants to try performing Tripegasus together with Mamoru to celebrate their friendship and the bond they share. Since the move requires 3 people to perform, Doman joins them, completing the trio so that they can execute the technique properly. Even after many tries and attempts, the trio of Mamoru, Ichino's, and Doman keep failing repeatedly, but one time it is completed by half, so they never give up and keep trying hard. The whole day passes by, and on the next day, Raimon Natsumi is shown putting flowers in her dad's room at the hospital. Mamoru cheers her up by showing her his favorite spot where they can see the beautiful sunset together. Afterwards, Team Zeus is going against Team Caribbean in the semifinals, but Zeus managed to win the match. At the clubroom, Team Raimon get to know that their semifinals had to be with Kadakawa Saishu, so then they continued their practice. Seeing that, Kino and Otanashi think that Ichino's fits into the team so well. After practice, Natsumi informs that the winner of the match was Zeus. Later, Shuya, Mamoru and Kido talks about their defense and how they could improve it. Mamoru then takes Shuya and Kido to a sweet store where Mamoru finds 3 KFC members. Shuya and Kido then stops by to take drinks, but Kido comments on Mamoru's personality, saying that Mamoru is pure and innocent, and Shuya agrees with him. Someone enters the shop and it is the 3 identical-looking boys from Kadakawa Saishu. They tried to pick on Shuya for leaving the team last year without any explanation. Mamoru does not know who they are, so they introduce themselves to him. Kido then tells Mamoru that they are the ones who played in place of Shuya last year in the finals. The triplets tells Mamoru that last year, Kadakawa Saishu won up to the finals in Football Frontier because of Shuya, and because of that, they triplets weren't even brought out to play. One of the triplets suddenly kicks the ball toward Shuya, but Mamoru quickly blocks the shot and keeps it from going in. Mamoru can no longer stand watching the triplets keep picking on and tormenting Shuya, so he decides to step in and challenge them to a demonstrative match. He clearly says that since they are all strikers, they should be interested in facing a goalkeeper head-on instead of bullying others. The triplets accept his challenge right away without hesitation. The next day, everyone gets to the stadium for a match between Raimon and Kadakawa Saishu. The match begins with the triplets using their back tornado technique to shoot the ball straight at Mamoru. Mamoru tries to block it with his special punch technique, but he fails, allowing Kadakawa to score the first goal of the match. The triplets continue to show their strong teamwork and impressive skills, putting a lot of pressure on Raimon. Mamoru then focuses and uses his god hand to successfully block another powerful shot, stopping them from scoring again. However, the triplets do not give up and keep attacking non-stop, sending shot after shot toward Mamoru in hopes of getting another goal, but Mamoru manages to block the ball every single time. Hibiki then speaks up and tells the team that there are cracks in the triplets formation, explaining that they want another point so badly that they are only focused on attacking and are starting to lose control. Mamoru then passes the ball to Doman on purpose, making the triplets believe that they now have an easy chance to score. At that moment, the three main players of Raimon work together and successfully use the Tri-Pegasus technique, which scores a goal for their team and helps them turn the match around. In the second half of the game, the triplets tried their hardest to score another point and regain the lead, attacking again and again without stopping. During this time, Shuya uses his fire tornado kick, but the opposing team's goalkeeper manages to block the shot and stop it from going in. However, Shuya does not give up and quickly takes another shot, sending the ball straight into the net and scoring a goal. With this, the match between Raimon and Kadakuwa Saishu comes to an end and Raimon wins the game 3-2, allowing them to advance into the finals. The next day, Mamoru wakes up from a bad nightmare and starts thinking that he needs to become much stronger than he is right now. Later, he meets up with the others at Raimon and tells them that trying to stop Zeus's shots using God Hand is useless because he feels that the technique is not powerful enough. Shuya then asks Mamoru if he lost his confidence after the match against Kadakuwa, noticing how different he is acting. Throughout the school day, Mamoru feels sad and distracted, and he does not pay attention to his classes or anything happening around him. Later on, Shuya talks to Mamoru again and asks if he truly believes that God Hand can work against Zeus's shots, reminding him that Mamoru is the only one on Raimon who has seen how strong Zeus really is. Mamoru replies that facing Zeus will be even harder than fighting the triplets they played against the day before, and he also says that he feels useless and believes he is not good enough to be either the team's captain or its goalkeeper. Hearing that, Doman asks that he should look in Daisuke's notebook for a new Hisatsu powerful enough to stop their shoots. Then Mamoru reads catching Hisatsu technique from the notebook called Mage in the Hand. Is the strongest goalkeeper technique he ever created in his entire life. After reading this, Mamoru slowly regains his confidence, so he goes outside to practice together with the rest of the team. Later that night, Onigawara meets with Natsumi and tells her that Fukai is currently inside their office. He explains that in order to find clues about Kageyama's location, he is about to question. The next day, everyone goes together to Hibiki's restaurant, but Mamoru asks Hibiki if he ever learned the Mage in the Hand technique himself. Hibiki replies that he tried in the past but was never able to fully master the move. Just then, Onigawara walks through the door and begins talking about a serious incident that happened 40 years ago involving the original Inazuma 11 team, and he explains that this old event is closely connected to Kageyama. The next day, Mamoru returns to the training facility and starts training like he always does. While he is practicing, Handa comes over and asks him what exactly he is doing. Mamoru explains that according to his grandpa's notebook, the power of Mage in the Hand comes from the chest area, so he is trying to strengthen that part of his body. Mamoru and the rest of the team continue their hard training, but Natsumi and Kino watch from the side and feel that everyone is becoming very desperate. Natsumi says that she does not really understand why they have to push themselves this far. Kino then asks her if they should help out by doing something that could cheer everyone up while they practice. After that, Kino takes Natsumi along to help make rice bowls, and through this, Natsumi ends up making her very first rice bowl. The next day, Mamoru wakes up very early so he can continue his training, which surprises his mother because she has never seen him this serious before. As the days pass, Mamoru's mother often watches him training hard on the field, running, diving, and practicing his goalkeeping nonstop. Later one night, she gently asks him if he truly enjoys playing soccer and whether it really makes him happy. She then shares something important about Mamoru's grandfather, saying that he once believed that if Mamoru plants his feet firmly on the ground and puts his strength into his navel and tailbone, there would be no ball he could not catch. Meanwhile, Kageyama goes to Hibiki's ramen shop and coldly says that Raimon is going to lose no matter what they do, which immediately makes Hibiki furious and angry at his attitude. Mamoru continues training hard to master Mage in the Hand, but no matter how much he tries, he is unable to make any progress at all. Natsumi then comes up with the idea of holding an overnight training camp at the school, and Hibiki agrees to it right away without hesitation. The first-year students get excited about the idea, but Mamoru says there is no time for something like this with the match against Zeus coming up soon, and he insists that he still needs to complete Mage in the Hand. Hibiki responds by explaining that Daisuke's technique is not something simple that can be learned instantly, and in Mamoru's current condition, learning it is impossible, so he believes it is better for Mamoru to take his mind off Mage in the Hand for a while. In the end, they decided that the training camp will start at 5 o'clock in the evening. When Mamoru gets home, he tells his mother about the training camp and then goes straight to bed to get some rest. Later, when he arrives at school, Mamoru is welcomed by Sugade Ueo, who has been asked to supervise and manage the training camp. The other members arrived already and are having fun together. The team is later seen cooking together and having a good time. On their way to the bathroom, Kabiyama and Kajino encounter a mysterious figure who causes the former to dash away in fear, due to mistaking it for a ghost. Handa concludes that it was either Kageyama or one of his accomplices, sent there to sabotage them before the match. The mysterious man turns out to be Tamiyama Yu, who came together with other old Inazuma 11 members. Over dinner, the old men reveal that they brought a training machine for Meijin the Hand that they had made 40 years ago for training. Mamoru struggles to complete the test and the first operators get exhausted from working the machine. When Mamoru feels ready to try to complete Meijin the Hand again using the machine, Shuya, Kidu, and Hibiki shoot Inazuma break at him several times, but it still does not work properly. When Kino notices that everybody feels down, she starts reminding them that they can still win if they score more goals than the opponents. Mamoru regains his confidence from this encouragement. In the morning of the finals, Shuya swears to Yuka that he will definitely win and Mamoru's mom gives him his grandfather's gloves. When Raimon arrive at the usual stadium, they notice that it is closed. They notice a massive stadium built above the Football Frontier Stadium, which is where they are going to have the match against Zeus. Raimon arrives at the entrance of the Football Frontier Stadium, only to be stunned when they find that the stadium is completely closed and inaccessible. It quickly becomes clear that the location for their final game has been changed to a massive, unusual structure built above the regular stadium, leaving everyone confused. The team immediately suspects that Kageyama must have been the one who pressured the committee into moving the match to this strange new location. During this, Hibiki pulls Mamoru aside and reveals that Kageyama might have been responsible for his grandfather's death many years ago, dropping a heavy and shocking piece of information. Hearing this, Natsumi quickly asks Hibiki why he chose this very moment to tell Mamoru such devastating news. Hibiki recalls the bitter memories of Kageyama's treachery years ago, which had caused the Inazuma 11 team to fail in winning the tournament and ultimately led to many players abandoning soccer entirely. Mamoru is immediately struck by shock and anger upon hearing the news, his emotions threatening to overwhelm him, but thanks to the support of his teammates and his deep love for soccer, he gradually manages to pull himself out of this state. Hibiki is proud of him because he continued to play soccer instead of contaminating it with his hate for Kageyama. After Raimon changes into their uniform, Mamoru gives everyone a speech, while Aki and Natsumi talk about how he still has a positive attitude, despite not having completed Meijin the Hand yet. At that moment, Zeus makes their appearance and the members of Raimon glare at them with determination. The match begins with Aphrodite getting past all the members on the field using Heaven's Time technique. Because of this technique, the opponents cannot see him and he creates whirlwinds that blow them away. Aphrodite uses God Nose and Mamoru tries to stop it with God Hand, but the shoot is too strong for him. His teammates look shocked and the commentator is surprised how Aphrodite managed to score without even letting Raimon touch the ball at all. The match resumes with Raimon's kickoff and Samoka and Shuya are surprised when they see that Zeus do not try to defend at all. They try scoring with Dragon Tornado, but Poseidon's Jusuk Wall stops it easily. Poseidon gives Raimon the ball and provokes them to make another shot at the goal. The remaining members are falling one by one from injuries. After knocking Mamoru back, Aphrodite asks him if he wishes to see his teammates suffer and Mamoru starts doubting if they can still win the match. After this, Team Raimon collapses onto the ground because they are completely worn out and have no strength left, but Aphrodite speaks to Mamoru and asks if he still wants to keep watching his teammates get injured. Mamoru begins to think that even if their Hisatsu techniques do not work anymore, he is willing to keep fighting on his own until he is fully knocked out and can no longer stand. One by one, the Raimon players slowly stand back up and speak up to encourage Mamoru, telling him that they are going to win the match no matter what happens. Hearing this, Mamoru calls himself an idiot for trying to use his teammates as an excuse to give up, and with new determination, he also stands up again. At the same time, Kageyama is watching the match from afar and thinks that he has suffered greatly because of Daisuke, so he plans to take his revenge. The match then continues as Aphrodite gives orders to his teammates to use different techniques, but Mamoru steps forward and blocks the powerful shot by using his Meijin Hand. After Mamoru stops more shoots, Zeus take a break to drink. The managers find it suspicious and figure out Kageyama must have something to do with it. They sneak in to find the truth about the drink and overhear guards talking about how the water will make them stronger, confirming their suspicion about cheating. The first half ends with Zeus leading 3-0. Natsumi tells the boys about the Aqua of the Gods, a power-enhancing serum, which they find unforgivable. Mamoru is determined to show Zeus that their way of playing is wrong. Mamoru switches his gloves with his grandfather's ones and the match resumes. After failed attempts to stop Zeus' attacks, Aphrodite's eyes turn blood red from side effects. Mamoru finally completes Mage in the Hand and stops God Knows. Kidu's twin boost makes a chain shot with Shuya's fire tornado, scoring goals. The match ends with a score of 4-3 for Raimon, officially winning the Football Frontier Tournament, and Kageyama gets arrested by Onigawara. Later, Team Raimon holds the trophy as they can't believe that they finally won after days of hard work. The team then gets on their bus where Kino tells everyone that Ichinos and Doman leave early to meet their friend and tell him about the match in person. Kazemaru says that he would tell the athletics club about the match as well, and so does the others, as everyone has their own things to do now. Natsumi then asks the team what they will achieve next now that they are the best in Japan. Kazemaru quickly says that he wants to be the best because there are tons of strong guys throughout the world. Hearing this, everyone feels, but Mamoru speaks up and says that they will train even harder and aim to become the best team in the world. At the same time, Shuya goes to visit his little sister at the hospital, and when he gently places flowers on the table beside her bed, she suddenly wakes up, which completely shocks. Meanwhile, the Raimon team bus is still moving when Mamoru notices something falling from the sky, and moments later, a huge explosion shakes the area. The team quickly rushes back to their school, but they are stunned to see that the entire place has been destroyed by the explosions. Just then, the principal appears from the rubble and tells the team that the destruction was caused by the aliens. However, everyone becomes even more shocked when they see the old members of Inazuma 11 lying on the ground, injured and unmoving. Just then, 3 soccer balls suddenly appear out of nowhere and a strange portal opens around them, from which 3 aliens come out. One of the aliens explains that they come from the distant planet Aliia and says that they are only acting as messengers for their people. Without warning, the alien then kicks a dark black soccer ball straight toward Raimon's team. Mamoru immediately tries to use Mage in the Hand to stop it, but the power of the shot is so strong that his teammates are blown backward by the force. At the same time, both Kino and Natsumi receive phone calls telling them that aliens are also attacking other schools around the area. Soon after, at Casamino school grounds, Team Raimon arrives to fight in place of the other students and faces the alien team called Gemini Storm and its captain Riai's. The match begins, but Gemini Storm completely overwhelms Raimon, and the score quickly becomes 12-0 as Raimon is unable to stop their attacks at all. The Alliance completely dominates Raimon by getting 17-point score, and Raimon's goalkeeper is in miserable condition. After that, the aliens completely destroys Team Raimon as all of them fall on the ground except Mamoru, who tries his best to get the ball, but Riai's quickly kicks the ball in the net, scoring another point. Riai's declares the game set and immediately prepares a black soccer ball to demolish the Casamino Junior High building completely. Mamoru wakes up to find himself in his bed at his house and realizes reality. As Mamoru stuffs himself with rice balls, a news reporter is broadcast on television reporting the destruction of junior high schools in multiple districts. Mamoru finds Handa, Kajino, Max, Shishido, and Shurin at the Inazuma General Hospital. At the destroyed grounds of Raimon, Kino walks with Mamoru as they carefully move through what is left of the soccer club room, looking at the broken walls and scattered items around them. Mamoru looks around the ruined place and feels strong anger, and he states that he will never forgive Aliia Gakuen because soccer is not something meant to destroy places or hurt people, but something meant to be enjoyed by everyone. Soon after this moment, Hibiki takes the whole team to the Inabikari Training Center, where he introduces their new coach, a serious woman named Kira Hidemiko, who is now in charge of training them. At the same time, over at Narashika Park, 3 black objects suddenly fall down from the sky, shocking everyone who sees them. After this, Riai's appears and kidnaps the Prime Minister right in front of everyone, leaving the people watching completely stunned. Later on, the team is introduced to the Inazuma Caravan, which becomes their new club room. The police starts investigating the area, so Team Raimon also decides to search for him on a nearby park where the Prime Minister was kidnapped. Later, Team Raimon finds an alien ball and Mamoru tries to lift it, but he couldn't. Just then, a group of people in black suit arrives, accusing Raimon of being aliens because of the black ball. The group says that they are security police force for the Prime Minister, and one of the girl yells at Raimon and she suggests that she would put Raimon to the test if they really were aliens or not through soccer, and Mamoru accepts the challenge. The other people reveals that the security police protecting Prime Minister Zazen are not just bodyguards, but also a soccer team known as the SP Fixers, who strengthen their bodies by using soccer. The match against the SP Fixers begins with Raimon taking the field and preparing to play seriously. The game starts with Raimon's kickoff, and right away Samoka charges forward and pushes deep into the opponent's side of the field. As the match continues, the SP Fixers clearly overpower Raimon with their movements and teamwork, controlling the flow of the game again and again. Even though both teams try to score, neither side succeeds and the first half ends with a score of 0-0. During halftime, Hidemiko gives a shocking order by telling Samoka, Kazemaru, and Kabiyama to sit on the bench, while stating that the remaining players will make up for their missing positions. When the second half begins, Raimon's formation surprises everyone, as they step onto the field with only 7 players playing at once. It turns out that Samoka, Kazemaru, and Kabiyama were injured. With a few minutes remaining, Raimon continues to block passes and dribble past opponents. Kidu performs his dribble Hisatsu called Illusion Ball to get past a defender, then kicks to Shuya, who shoots with Fire Tornado and scores Raimon a goal. The match continues until the security team finally loses against Raimon and the pink-haired girl introduces herself as Prime Minister's daughter. Afterward, Raimon goes against Alien once again and Kazemaru wants to defeat them for Max, Handa, and the others. Mamoru asks them to fight them, but Riai says that they can't and explains that they use the system of soccer as a basic to complete and they don't have the qualification to fight them as only 10 players. Hearing that, Prime Minister's daughter decides to play for Team Raimon and reveals her Raimon uniform. The match begins with Gemini Storm once again dominating against Raimon and doesn't let them get the chance to shoot either. Seeing their performance, Kidu wonders if there is really no way to get past them, but then, he realizes something and manages to steal the ball from them. He passes the ball to Shuya, who uses Fire Tornado to shoot, but the ball hits the pole and missed. Kidu then gives instructions to everyone, so that they can perform well, and then, Kidu passed the ball to Shuya and Kazemaru, who shoots Hanu no Kazemidori, but it doesn't get to the jail either. During break, Kidu explains everything to the team, but the coach tells them that they will bring all their defense up and attack with everyone. The second half then begins with Raimon once again struggling against, as Gemini Storm players are super fast and they continues to attack one after another and injure Mamoru. Gemini Storm ends up winning the match again, but Samoka is angry at Coach Hidemiko's instructions, but Mamoru says that they weren't wrong. Later, Coach Hidemiko tells Shuya to leave the team, that surprises everyone. Hearing that, Shuya decides to leave, but Mamoru says that they will wait for him. After this, Coach Hidemiko explains to the team that Hakuren Junior High is located in Hokkaido, and that their goal is to bring the school's ace striker, Fubuki Shiro, onto their team. The players begin to wonder who Fubuki Shiro really is and why there are no records or information about him anywhere, which makes the situation feel strange. Samoka is still angry at Coach Hidemiko and clearly shows his frustration, but soon after that, the Prime Minister's daughter receives a call saying that her father has been found. It is revealed that the Prime Minister has been released and returned safely without any injuries, although many details about what happened are still not explained. After this news, Tuko decides that she will officially join the team, and the next day she goes to visit her father and firmly tells him that she is going to defeat the aliens no matter what it takes. However, the Prime Minister tells her that the world must prepare for the worst that thing could bring, but she still argues that she is not a kid anymore. Later on, Coach Hidemiko suddenly stops the bus in the middle of a forest because she has prepared a special training plan for the team. After this, everyone begins training on their own and keeps distance from each other, since they do not want to listen to Coach Hidemiko or follow her training menu. Once the training ends, the team goes to a hot spring to relax, but as they start taking off their clothes, Tuko suddenly rushes in and says she wants to take a bath together with everyone else. Because of this, everyone shouts in surprise and then bursts into laughter, and they continue joking about it while enjoying the hot spring. The next day, the team heads out to look for Fubuki Shiro, and while traveling, they notice a young boy who is freezing in the snow. Mamoru quickly brings the boy onto the bus and decides to take him along, but soon after that, the bus becomes stuck in the snow and cannot move forward. Later, Kino notices that ever since Coach Hidemiko told Shuya to leave, the team's atmosphere has changed, and no matter how good Fubuki is with this atmosphere, she is not sure if it will work. The team then arrives at Hakuren, where a bunch of players starts going crazy over Team Raimon. Coach Hidemiko then asks others if they know where Fubuki is, but they says that he might be out skiing right now, but another guy says that he might be doing something else, so Mamoru thinks that he must be an awesome guy. Just then, Fubuki arrives and he turns out to be the same boy from earlier that Romaine gave him lift to. Samoka then gets furious and goes outside, but Kino approaches him, so he tells her that if they acknowledge that Fubuki, then Shuya won't have a place to come back to. Later on, everyone participated in a snowball fight while Kabiyama and Megane were making snowman. Kazemaru, Kidu and Doman work together and use snowball Hisatsu techniques, and when they throw them, they call the moves Shippu Snowball and Twin Snowball as they attack in sync. Later on, when the match fully begins, Team Raimon feels shocked to learn that Fubuki is not playing as a striker but instead acts as a strong and unbreakable defender. He easily stops Samoka's Dragon Crash without even using a Hisatsu technique, showing how powerful he is. Not only that, but he also takes the ball away from Samoka by using his Hisatsu move called Ice Ground. After stealing the ball, Fubuki suddenly seems to change completely and he charges straight toward Raimon's goal with overwhelming speed. He slips past the defenders and even gets through Domon's killer slide without any trouble at all. In the end, he uses his powerful Hisatsu Eternal Blizzard and the shot breaks through Mamoru's God Hand and scores. Mamoru then tells everyone that starting today, they will be practicing with Fubuki, but then, Raimon decides to divide the team into two parts like Reds and the Whites. After that, the training match begins with Kazemaru showing amazing performance, but Fubuki manages to steal the ball from him in an instant. He then runs past everyone else, but the girls wonders why he passed the ball to anyone. Samoka yells at Fubuki for not passing the ball to anyone, but Fubuki calmly replies that this is just the way he has always played, following his own style. Hearing this, Samoka gets even more furious and starts to rush after him, but Kazemaru interrupts and asks how Fubuki can move so fast. Fubuki tells him to follow, and they arrive at a snowy hill where Fubuki shows off his incredible snowboarding skills, moving down the slope with amazing speed and control. When he finishes, the Raimon team wants to try snowboarding too, but some of the players struggle and cannot manage it well, while Samoka refuses to join at all. That night, the team has dinner together, but the meal is small and there isn't much to eat, leaving them a little hungry. Later, Kazemaru and Mamoru climb to the top of the Inazuma caravan and have a serious talk, where Kazemaru says he wants more power and plans to use the Aqua of Gods, shocking Mamoru, who insists that Kazemaru doesn't need it at all. The next morning, Kazemaru and Mamoru get ready to go snowboarding again, but they are surprised to see that Samoka is already on the slope, snowboarding by himself. While all three of them are snowboarding together, a snowball suddenly flies toward Mamoru and he smashes it into pieces with his board, leaving all three completely shocked by his strength. Mamoru admits that he has never felt a sensation like that before, and it surprises him as much as it surprises the others. Later that day, Samoka challenges Fubuki to a match to decide once and for all who is the true ace striker. The match begins, and Fubuki quickly steals the ball, but Samoka recovers it and takes control, shooting toward the goal, only for the ball to hit the goalpost. Then, Fubuki suddenly changes into Atsuya and rushes forward, trying to score, but when he sees a squirrel on the field, he slows down, which gives Samoka the chance to take the ball back and score a goal, surprising everyone. Raimon starts their match against Gemini Storm and Fubuki Shiro joins the Raimon team, promising his old teammates in Hakuren that he will protect them from harm. The match starts and everyone is still having a hard time against Gemini Storm's speed and power. But then, they are slowly getting used to the speed of Gemini Storm and they finally get the ball from them because of Kazemaru, who makes a fast cut. From this moment on, Raimon is just as fast as Gemini Storm in their movements. Samoka then uses Dragon Crash to score a goal, but fails to do so against their goalkeeper. Then as Gemini Storm pushes on forward, Fubuki steals the ball by using Ice Ground technique. He displays his speed and gets the ball easily from them. Then, Gemini Storm changes their attack pattern and Rize uses Astro Break towards the goal. Both defenders use the wall and the tower but fail to block it completely. Mamoru uses Bakuretsu Punch but fails to block it too and they score. Then, at the start of the second half, they put Fubuki on forward and he steals the ball again. Then, when he is near the goal, he turns to Fubuki Atsuya's personality and heads towards the goal. Ichinos realizes that the opponent has habits before they pass the ball, so he uses Flame Dance to steal the ball. Samoka then shoots with Wyvern Crash and scores a goal for Raimon. With this, the opponent uses Universe Blast to score, but the other two defenders use the tower and the wall and decrease the force of the ball, and with this, Mamoru uses Majin the Hand and blocks it successfully. Then, Raimon attacks again. Fubuki uses Eternal Blizzard and scores the winning goal. Raimon wins the match and Natsumi then says to Gemini Storm that third time is the charm. Then, another team from Aliia Gakuen called Epsilon comes and states that they will exile Gemini Storm and they will wait for their match against Raimon. Hidemiko announced to the members of Raimon that Epsilon wants to attack Manuji School. She explains to them that Manuji is a strong team in both power and speed, but they never entered the football frontier because they do not seek out competition at all. She also explains that unlike Gemini Storm, Epsilon attacks schools with the intention of looking for worthy opponents and states that if they beat Epsilon, they might find out what Aliia Gakuen really wants from them. Meanwhile, Detective Onigawara is speaking to Prime Minister Zazen Susuk and reveals that Kageyama has escaped from jail. When Raimon arrives at Menyuji, they notice how relaxed the people there are. A small boy who is mopping the floors is angry because his teammates give him chores instead of allowing him to train with them. When Mamoru steps on a shiny spot on the floor, he accidentally slips, then the other teammates trip over each other. Megane sprains his ankle because Kabiyama falls over him heavily. When Menyuji's captain Takeda Atsushi arrives at the scene, he reveals that the boy is his teammate named Kogure and apologizes for his behavior. Takeda also reveals that Kogure was apparently betrayed by his parents when he was young, which is why he lost his trust in everyone around him. Raimon meets with the rest of Menyuji to suggest having a match with them before Epsilon attacks again, but they refuse because they are not looking for a fight. At night, Otanashi finds Kogure in the dojo who is planning a prank for his teammates for revenge. Otanashi tries to argue with him that his teammates are only trying to help him, but Kogure does not believe her at all. The next day, Otanashi convinces Furukabu to take part in a challenge with Kogure. All of a sudden, black fog appears and it is Epsilon who came for their challenge with Menyuji. Since they still refuse to fight, the aliens destroy part of the school, which finally sets Menyuji off and they accept the match. The match ends with 0-15 for Epsilon, but when Desarm is ready to destroy the school, Mamoru challenges them to a match. His teammates remind him that since Megane is injured, they have only 10 people left, but Otanashi tries to convince them to let Kogure play with them. Afterwards, Coach puts Kogure as a defender, but Team Raimon wonders how good Kogure's abilities are and if he could be useful for the team. Desarm then tries to intimidate Kogure as he gets scared and wonders if Raimon really think that they can win against aliens. The match then begins with Desarm telling them that they will finish this match in 3 minutes. The match then begins between Raimon and Epsilon as Coach tells the team that during the 6 minutes against Menyuji, she figured out how Epsilon plays. She says that Gemini Storm was a team that used speed to push their opponents in, and compared to that, in the match against Menyuji, Epsilon seals the forwards and intervenes during attacks. During the match, Epsilon tries to put pressure on Raimon, but Kazemaru and Kidu really plays well. The ball gets to Ichinos, who shoots a spinning shot that goes towards Desarm, but the other two players kicks the ball back. Raimon shoots the ball toward Desarm, but Desarm easily blocks the shot with just one hand, and Raimon feels strange and unsettling pressure from that moment. The match keeps going, and Team Raimon starts getting beaten badly, while Desarm calmly says that there are almost 3 minutes left, so they will finish the match with the next play. Even so, he tells them that in 10 days, they will face each other again. Desarm throws the ball back, and Kogure manages to block it using his special ability, but the 3-minute time limit runs out right after that. After the match ends, Team Raimon continues practicing so they can become even stronger. Later that night, Mamoru meets a strange boy who already knows about him, but the boy suddenly disappears. In the end, Team Raimon leaves the area without Kogure. Later, Coach Hidemiko calls Menyuji's coach and asks about Kogure, also checking if he does not mind letting Kogure join them for the Inazuma caravan. The coach agrees and tells her to take good care of him. After that, Team Raimon takes Kogure with them on the bus. While riding, Kogure ruins Megane's doll that he really cares about and openly says that he is against someone like Megane being part of Raimon 11. Around the same time, Hidemiko receives an email from Hibiki saying that Kageyama has escaped and is heading to Eheim, which makes Kidu extremely angry. Later on, Team Raimon arrives in Eheim, where Mamoru bumps into a boy with a strange hairstyle. Coach Hidemiko recognizes him as a student from True Tikoku Academy and says that he is the one who sent her the fake email and only decided to show himself now. Later, when they arrive at the refuge, a huge submarine suddenly appears and Kageyama finally reveals himself. After that, Kageyama calls Kidu to come inside. Kidu enters, and Mamoru follows him without hesitation. On the field, both Kidu and Mamoru feel shocked when they see that Kageyama has turned Genda and Sakuma against them. Kidu asks why they are now working under Kageyama. Sakuma answers that they want power and claims that Kidu is the one who betrayed them first. Kidu apologizes for what happened, but instead of listening, Sakuma angrily kicks the ball straight into Kidu's stomach. Mamoru then says that he won't let anyone who listened to Kageyama talk about soccer and that he will fight them to show what it means to play soccer. The match starts again and Sakuma takes a shot that is so strong it sends Mamoru flying through the air. Seeing this, Kidu quickly tells Sakuma not to use that technique again. He tries to warn him that if he keeps using it, his body will not be able to handle the damage. However, Sakuma does not care at all, because the only thing on his mind is winning the match no matter what it costs him. Kidu then explains to Mamura that the move Sakuma is using is a forbidden technique called Emperor Penguin No. 1, a shot that was created by Kageyama himself. He says that while the technique has terrifying attacking power, it sends intense pain through every muscle in the user's body. Because of how dangerous it is, the technique was sealed away and labeled forbidden, never meant to be used again. If someone uses it twice in a match, they'll reach their limit. Kidu then tells everyone not to let Sakuma get the ball now, and then, the match continues. Kidu, Ichinos, and Samoka work together and use Kudai Penguin number 2, but their move fails when it clashes with Beast Fang, which is another forbidden technique. After that, Fudo takes a shot of his own, yet it gets stopped by God Hand before it can score. As the second half starts, Samoka charges forward and shoots using Wyvern Crash, but it turns out to be a trick pass meant for Fubuki instead. Fubuki receives the ball and immediately uses Eternal Blizzard, scoring a goal so fast that Genda does not even have time to react. Later, when Samoka tries to attack again, Fudo makes a rough and violent move that ends up injuring him. Seeing this, Fubuki gets angry and is about to punch Fudo, but Samoka stops him, saying that doing so would get him sent out of the match. Because of everything that happens, the match finally ends in a draw and Coach Hidemiko calls a rescue team to come and take care of Sakuma. After that, Raimon finally returns to their school and starts training even harder, hoping to perform better against the many teams they will face next. Samoka tells everyone that his injury will heal in 2 days and says that they still have plenty of time to recover before the next match. While they are on their way back, they come across Sugimori Takashi and Mikage Senu, who are now wearing Raimon's uniform. Sugimori then introduces a new member named Yamano Kajito, who is also known as Shadow. Shadow tells Mamoru that he likes strong players, and that is the reason he decides to join Raimon. Shadow tells them that his current shot is still not strong enough to win against the aliens, but he promises that he will join their team once he finishes completing it. After that, all the Raimon players begin their training. But Kogure gets angry at Kino for acting like his mother and asking him the same questions again and again. Kino then gently asks him what really happened between him and his mom, and Kogure finally opens up and tells her his sad and painful story. Later on, during practice, Samoka suddenly falls to the ground because his injury becomes even worse than before. At that moment, the coach arrives and tells Samoka that he has to leave the team for his own safety. A few days later, the coach informs the team that their next destination will be Osaka, as rumors say that Aliia Gakuen is hiding some kind of secret base. After that, Team Raimon arrives at an amusement park. At first, the Raimon players cannot really believe such a story, but they still decide to look around the area carefully to search for any clues. While everyone is searching, Ichinos ends up walking around alone by himself. At that moment, a girl named Urabe Rika notices him, and the instant she sees him, she falls in love with him right away. Rika then tricks Ichinos with her friendly attitude and leads him to an okonomiyaki restaurant, making him follow her without realizing what is happening. There, she makes him eat her special, lovey-dovey dish, which she proudly prepares just for him. As time slowly passes, the rest of the team suddenly realizes that Ichinos is no longer with them, and they start to notice that he has completely gone missing from the group. The team finally figures out where Ichinos is staying. However, when they try to take him back with them, Rika suddenly says that Ichinos has to marry her because of the lovey-dovey dish tradition. Everyone gets confused, and the situation turns awkward, but then Megane comes up with an idea to solve the problem. He suggests settling everything with a soccer match between Raimon and Osaka Gals CCC, which is Rika's team. After this, Megane goes into the training center to test it out, but it is clear that he struggles a lot, showing that the place is far harder than it first appears and is not as normal as it seems from the outside. Seeing how tough the training center is, Mamoru feels motivated and decides that he should also challenge himself by trying it. The Raimon team asks Rika if they are allowed to use the training center, and she agrees to let them train there without stopping them. Later, it is explained that the training center was never owned by Osaka in the first place, and it is also mentioned that the place had been abandoned for a long time. Natsumi then suggests that the center might secretly be used by Aliia Gakuen as a place for their own training, which makes everyone uneasy. After that, the rest of the team begins their training inside the center. Fubuki focuses on trying to make his Eternal Blizzard stronger and more stable, while Kidu trains together with the others on the moving field, where most of the players struggle to keep up with the fast changes. At the same time, Mamoru continues training hard as a goalkeeper, working on improving his skills and reactions. After the training session, they start eating the food that the Osaka Gals have prepared for them. Everyone fights for food and most other members have a hard time getting food since everyone is fighting over it. The next day, they try harder on the training center and Kidu asks Fubuki to join the defense training, but Fubuki leaves afterwards, stating that he cannot waste time on defense training, which shocks everyone around him. After more training, everyone passes through the last level of the training center successfully. During the night, Fubuki is still shown to be training alone, and is seen to be talking to himself, which surprises both Mamoru and Kino who are watching. The next day starts and the match of Raimon against Epsilon begins at the stadium. Makia uses Meteor Shower to get past the front lines and succeeds in doing so. Afterwards, she passes it to Zell and uses Ganymede Proton to score, but Mamoru blocks it with Mage in the hand, which shocks Epsilon completely. Raimon has the ball again and they use Twin Boost and Rose Splash but fail to score any goals. After this, the match continues and Fubuki attempts to score by using Eternal Blizzard, but the shot fails to get past the goalkeeper and does not result in a goal. Kabiyama then tries to stop Epsilon as they push forward, but he is unable to block their advance, and Epsilon fires a shot using Ganymede Proton, which Mamoru successfully blocks with his goalkeeping skills. Soon after that, the first half ends with the score still at 0-0, as neither team manages to score any goals. During the break, Fubuki is given the role of playing both as a defender and a forward, and although everyone admits that this is a very heavy responsibility, Fubuki accepts the role without any hesitation. Mamoru encourages Fubuki by telling him to do his best, and these words cause Fubuki to remember his father, his family, and moments from his past, revealing more about his history. When the second half begins, Fubuki steals the ball using Ice Ground, then changes into his Atsuya form and charges toward the goal to use Eternal Blizzard once again, but the shot still fails and does not score. Then Kogure gets in the way by trying to block Gaia Break, which makes Mamoru unable to block the shoot properly. But Mamoru encourages Kogure to do his best, and finally Kogure succeeds and Domon succeeds with his new Hisatsu technique called Volcano Cut. After the defense succeeds in blocking, Fubuki turns to his Atsuya form and tries Eternal Blizzard again for the second time but fails once more. But this time he tries for the third time and finally succeeds in scoring, which makes Raimon tied with Epsilon at 1-1. Lastly, Atsuya tries to score again with Eternal Blizzard but fails since Desarm shows a new Hisatsu technique called Drill Smasher and easily blocks the shoot completely. The match ends with both teams in a tie score. The next day, Kidu sees Mamoru in the same training center again, and smiles at the fact that Mamoru does not give up easily at all. Then they all get to know that someone has found one of Daisuke's books, which shocks Mamoru. Afterward, Team Raimon arrives in Fukuoka to reach Yukado Junior High. At the school, Mamoru and Natsumi meet up with an old man who has Daisuke's notebook. The old man reveals that Daisuke and he were best friends and tells Mamoru that this school is where Daisuke and he came from. Later, the old man tells them that Daisuke was sports freak as whether he was awake or sleeping, all he ever thought of was soccer. Mamoru asks him if he did some goalkeeping training, so the old man reveals that he did by hanging a tire in the air with rope. The old man then says that one day Daisuke dropped by to visit him and put a single notebook under his care. Mamoru quickly opens the notebook and realizes that there are lots of amazing things written in here. He then says that he will definitely master the ultimate secret techniques no matter what. Later on, Mamoru runs into Tachimukai, who seems to be a shy fan of Mamoru, and for him, meeting Mamoru would be the most thrilling thing to ever happen. He then walks up to Mamoru and asks if he is willing to shake hands with him. Tachimukai explains that because of this admiration, he even gives up his position as a midfielder and decides to become a goalkeeper instead, wanting to follow the same path as Mamoru. After talking, they all agree to play a soccer match together. But what truly shocks everyone is the fact that Tachimukai is able to perfectly copy Mamoru's God Hand during the game. The team is completely amazed by this and Tachimukai confidently says that he is determined to learn Mage in the Hand one day. The match continues, and a player from Yukado runs straight at Mamoru with the ball, trying to take a shot, but Domon quickly steals the ball from him. Then Kurumatsu uses a Hisatsu technique, surprising everyone as the results of their training clearly show on the field. Raimon plays so well that even Tachimukai is impressed by their teamwork and skill. Tachimukai tries to imitate Mamoru's Mage in the Hand technique and manages to stop the ball. The ball then reaches Ichino's, who is getting increasingly annoyed by Rika, who is acting all lovey-dovey around him. Just then, a player from the opposing team steals the ball and passes it to a teammate, who immediately shoots it toward Mamoru. Mamoru strengthens his fist using another technique, preparing to block the shot, but the ball bounces on another opponent, who headbutts it to keep the play going. Suddenly, Kidu appears out of nowhere and blocks the goal, saving the team. After that, the second half begins, and Tachimukai, impressed by Mamoru's Mage in the Hand technique, tries to recreate it exactly, which surprises everyone watching. He attempts to block the ball with it but fails in the end. Ultimately, Raimon wins the match easily, and the team notices that Tachimukai's Mage in Hand technique is improving and getting stronger. The next day, an alien approaches Mamoru and challenges him to a soccer match. but everyone soon realizes that the red-haired boy has been pretending to be Mamoru's friend in order to trick and manipulate him. It is then revealed that the red-haired boy is actually named Gran, which makes Mamoru extremely angry, since he never imagines that Gran would be connected to Aliia Academy. Before the match starts, everyone speaks to Fubuki and tells him that they are depending on him to lead the team. The match then begins with Raimon taking the kickoff, but one of the opposing players quickly steals the ball from them, and Gran rushes forward and scores a goal almost immediately. Seeing this, everyone is shocked and wonders how the other team manages to score in just 1 minute. As the match continues, Gran fires another strong shot, and Mamoru tries to block it using Mage in the hand, but he fails once again and cannot stop the goal. After that, Mamoru continues to miss block after block, as the alien team fully controls the match and overwhelms Raimon with their strength. Eventually, Team Raimon manages to get possession of the ball, and it reaches Fubuki, who is full of spirit and determination as he shoots toward the goal. However, his special technique shot is easily stopped by the alien team's goalkeeper, shocking everyone watching. As the match goes on, Fubuki gets injured while trying to stop Gran's powerful shot called Ryusei Blade, putting him out of action. After the match ends, Coach Hidemiko reveals more details about Fubuki's past, helping everyone understand him better. However, the most shocking moment comes when Kazemaru suddenly decides that he is quitting the team, leaving everyone stunned. After Kazemaru leaves the team and goes away, the Raimon team starts to be silent and quiet, and Mamoru is left feeling sad and devastated by this difficult situation. Because of this happening, Mamoru decides to be alone for a while and does not attend Raimon's practices anymore at all. However, because of this decision he makes, the Raimon team becomes sad that their captain is being depressed and down about everything. After some time passes by, Kurimatsu cannot handle it anymore and leaves the team after writing a farewell note to everyone on the team. After this happens with another member, Mamoru becomes even more depressed and does not eat anymore at all during the day. He is too discouraged to even practice soccer on the field, but a certain person arrives on the top floor, and it is Kino who comes to see him there. Kino shows the determination each member has and shows how determined Tachimukai is about playing soccer. On a cruise to Okinawa, after receiving the news of the Flame Striker, Mamoru is positive that the Flame Striker is definitely Shuya, with Coach Hidemiko going ahead before them to Okinawa to search and find out the truth herself. A few of the team members have second thoughts about the Flame Striker being Shuya, saying that it is best to actually know it rather than think it. Megane then starts to admire the coral underwater while on the cruise, and with warnings from Kabiyama about leaning too close and falling over, Megane literally falls off the boat and slowly sinks into the sea. A surfer then comes to his rescue and drags Megane to shore, making the whole team stop at Agatu Island and miss the next boat trip to Okinawa, forcing them to stay the night at the island. Mamoru takes this opportunity to practice for the next match against Aliia Gakuen, and Tuko takes the practice as an opportunity to learn a new Hisatsu in order to become stronger. Mamoru attempts to do Seiji no Tekken, though he fails at doing so, wondering what the whirl meant. Jusuk then suddenly interrupts the practice by jumping in from the sky, asking whether soccer was something you could do on the beach, and then goes off with his surfboard to relax. The practice goes on as usual, and Tuko attempts a shot, only to have it stopped by Tachimukai's Mage in the hand, then decides to do Butterfly Dream with Rika. They both attempt the Hisatsu, though Tuko kicks it too fast, making it fly over to Jusuk's surfboard, making the surfboard land flat on Jusuk's face. At Aliia Gakuen, Gran and two other people, one under a blue light and another under a red light, comment about Mamoru. Back at practice, Rika and Tuko try Butterfly Dream again, though it fails again. Mamoru asks whether he has played soccer before, and Jusuk comments that he has not. After Kidu talks Jusuk into playing, Jusuk begins to practice with the team, doing increasingly well on defense. In one part of the play, Tuko and Rika manage to successfully do Butterfly Dream, and Jusuk creates his own Hisatsu called Jusuk Boost. The next day, Raimon leaves on the boat to Okinawa, with Jusuk waving them off while thinking about soccer. Right after arriving at Okinawa, during the match between Raimon and Umihara, Mamoru notices that his teammates' plays look messy and unorganized, but he decides to stay focused and continue protecting the goal no matter what. Umihara then uses one of their Hisatsu techniques and attempts to score, but Mamoru responds by using Mage in the hand to block the shot and keep the ball out of the goal. As the match goes on, Umihara keeps attacking without stopping, yet Mamoru continues to block their shots again and again. At one point, Ichinos runs forward with the ball, but a player from the opposing team kicks it away, sending the ball out of the field. After watching closely, Kidu finally figures out how to break Umihara's rhythm, and he orders the team to change their formation while moving Ichinos to the forward position. When the match starts again, Kidu's commands completely change the flow of the game, and Raimon begins to play much better than before and slowly takes control. As the game continues, Omihara fires another shot toward the goal, and Mamoru tries to catch it, but he fails to hold the ball properly. Even so, the ball stops before crossing the line, which gives Raimon the win and secures their victory. After the match, Mamoru realizes an important clue about how to use Seiji no Tekken, but he understands that before he can master it, he must first learn how to serve from Jusuk so he can control the movement required for the technique. At first, Mamoru struggles and has trouble keeping his balance, but after repeated attempts, he finally succeeds and fully masters Seiji no Tekken. However, Raimon's happiness does not last long, because Epsilon appears once again, bringing danger back to them. Afterwards, Epsilon appears before Raimon and announces that they have now become Epsilon Remastered, showing that they have grown stronger and more dangerous. They boldly challenge Raimon to a match, threatening that if Raimon refuses to face them, they will destroy one or two of the schools in the surrounding area, creating an urgent and frightening situation. Coach Hidemiko immediately warns the team that unless they manage to defeat Epsilon Remastered, they will never be ready to face Alia's strongest team, Genesis, emphasizing the importance of this match. Seeing that, Jusuk decides to join Raimon's team to help them out and strengthen their chances in the upcoming battle. The match between Raimon and Aliia Academy begins, and it quickly becomes apparent that Epsilon Remastered has leveled up significantly, as they move through Raimon's defense with ease, demonstrating superior speed and skill. At one point, they attempt to score a goal using the powerful technique Gaia Break, but their effort is successfully blocked by Mamoru's new Hisatsu, Seiji no Tekken, showing that he has grown stronger as well. Motivated by this, Doman, Ichinos, and Kogure also step up, working together to block multiple attacks and proving that they, too, have improved their abilities since before. Later, Rika tries to score a goal using her technique Rose Splash, but her attempt fails when it is caught flawlessly by Raimon's Hisatsu, Wormhole, leaving her frustrated and highlighting the team's growing defensive strength. Afterwards, Desarm asks Fubuki Shiro to score a goal. Fubuki's eyes turn yellow and he charges on through Epsilon Remastered. He uses Eternal Blizzard to score, but it is blocked by Drill Smasher, to which he gets angry. He tries it again for third time until the fourth time was easily stopped by only Desarm's hand even without a Hisatsu. The match then continues with Desarm blocking everyone's shot that is coming towards him. However, Desarm then shoots the ball towards Mamoru, who manages to block it using Mage in the hand. At that moment, Shuya shows up to the field, wearing Raimon's uniform. Shuya then plays the match with Raimon and shows amazing performance, and in the end, Raimon wins against Epsilon Remastered. After this, Shuya officially returns to Team Raimon and everyone welcomes him back since they have been waiting for him so desperately. Shuya then speaks to Coach Hidemiko and says that if she had not allowed him to leave back then, he might have ended up joining them, which makes everyone confused and wonder who he is talking about. Just after that, a detective arrives and explains that there is a serious reason why Shuya left the team in the past. He reveals that Shuya's sister was taken hostage by a group of men who claimed to support Aliia Academy, and they used her to threaten Shuya into joining them. The detective also tells everyone that they should be grateful to Hijikata, since he secretly kept Shuya under his protection during that time. Later on, Team Raimon begins practicing again, with Shuya firing a powerful shot at Tachimukai, who cannot stop it even by using God Hand. The ball then goes to Fubuki, but he freezes and is unable to react or make a move, causing the situation for the team to become even worse. Seeing this, Furukabu tells Coach Hidemiko that it would be better for Fubuki to leave the team, believing it would help both Fubuki himself and the rest of the players. Coach Hidemiko calmly responds that Fubuki has something important inside him that he still needs to overcome in order to get past these difficulties. Later that night, Shuya and Mamoru spend time talking together, discussing the team and the problems they are facing. The next day, a team called Diamond Dust demands that Raimon face them in a match, warning that if Raimon refuses, Tokyo will be randomly destroyed by black soccer balls. The match turned out to be extremely difficult right from the start, as Mamoru struggles badly and even has trouble stopping normal shots. At that moment, an old opponent suddenly appears in front of them, shocking everyone. Just then, Aphrodite kicks the ball back and seeing him, Rika asks who he is, so Ichinos tells her that they fought his team in Football Frontier. Aphrodite tells Mamoru that he wants to join their team in order to defeat the opponents. He then joins the team and the match continues with Doman running with the ball, but he doesn't pass it to Aphrodite, so the other team player steals it from him. Raimon seems to be struggling because their rhythm is actually bad. Ichinos then uses his special technique to steal the ball and runs for the attack, but he doesn't pass the ball to Aphrodite either because he or the rest of the team doesn't trust him enough. The match continues with both teams using their special technique to go after another, but when the second half begins, Aphrodite delays the Diamond Dust members and Mamoru rushes back to the goal rapidly. Gazel uses Northern Impact once again, and Mamoru gets ready to use Seiji no Tekken to stop the shot, but Kidu quickly reminds him that he is standing too far away from the goalpost to use it properly. Because of this, Mamoru decides to block the shot with his head instead, and in that moment, his head releases an incomplete Hisatsu technique that still manages to stop Northern Impact, shocking everyone who is watching the match. After the match ends, Aphrodite is welcomed into Team Raimon as a new member, and the team is happy to have him join. However, their coach, Kira Hidemiko, then speaks to Mamoru and tells him that he is being removed from the goalkeeper position, which leaves Mamoru and the rest of the team completely stunned. After this, Kidu tells Mamoru that he must take on the role of a libero, explaining that if they want to defeat Aliia Academy, the team needs to make bold changes, and that Mamoru is the key to making those changes work. One of the players then asks what a libero actually is, so another teammate explains that a libero is a player who focuses on defending but can also move forward to help with attacks. Mamoru then says that Tachimukai will now protect the goal as the goalkeeper, and the coach agrees with this decision because Tachimukai is able to use both God Hand and Mage in the Hand. Later on, Fubuki goes to speak with Samoka again and shares his true thoughts and worries with him, but Samoka reassures Fubuki by telling him that he has amazing techniques and that he truly belongs as part of Team Raimon. That night, the whole team gathers together and enjoys a barbecue, spending time laughing and relaxing as one group. The next day, Kino and the others prepare new uniforms for Mamoru and Tachimukai, marking an important change for the team. This moment becomes known as the birth of the super-aggressive Raimon 11, showing how much the team has evolved. Because of this, Mamoru developed a brand new Hisatsu technique called Megaton Head. Mamoru also passes down his grandfather's ultimate move, an unfinished Hisatsu known as Mugen the Hand, to Tachimukai, who begins practicing it seriously with help from Jusuk. The entire Raimon team comes and travels to Tikoku Gakuen for a special training session, as requested and arranged by Kidu to help them improve their soccer skills and abilities. Kidu also makes a request to his former teammates from the Tikoku team to play a friendly practice match against Raimon, but with Mamoru, Kidu and Doman playing on Tikoku's side instead of Raimon's side. Kidu makes this unusual arrangement and does this because he strongly feels that to master and learn the Death Zone technique properly, the players have to become a part of Tikoku and understand their playing style first before they can use it. Mamoru and the other players start to learn the Death Zone technique from all the practicing they are doing together. But in this particular version of Death Zone that they are learning, the shoot is made more powerful and boosted with the inequality and difference of power in the shoot itself when it is executed. During their practice, Sakuma takes the time to tell Kidu that they do not feel at all that Kidu has betrayed them or let them down, and they honestly feel that Raimon is the only place and team where Kidu can develop and utilize his skills properly and effectively to reach his full potential. This conversation and reassurance allows Kidu to play without any worries about the past, and he starts practicing the Death Zone 2 technique. Afterward, Gazel and Burn make a dramatic appearance, boldly declaring themselves as Chaos and openly challenging Raimon, demanding a fight to determine who is the strongest team in the entire universe. Upon hearing this, Natsumi, Kino, and Otanashi immediately go to inform Coach Hidemiko about the upcoming challenge, which is scheduled to take place in 2 days at Tikoku Stadium, leaving everyone feeling the pressure. Meanwhile, Kidu steps in to organize the team's preparations and issues detailed orders for training, as the match against Chaos is set to begin tomorrow. Under his guidance, Mamoru, Doman, and Kidu focus on strengthening the Death Zone 2 technique, while Tachimukai and Jusuk dedicate themselves to refining Mugen the Hand. The rest of the team works on improving their formation, placing Shuya and Aphrodite at the center to maximize coordination and effectiveness. Without wasting any time, their intensive training begins immediately. The first part of the training session starts with Tachimukai and Jusuk practicing together. During this practice, Jusuk uses his technique, Jusuk Boost, while Tachimukai holds his ground firmly, concentrating deeply on the advice and instructions that Jusuk had shared with him just moments earlier. He claps his hand and a blue hand similar to God Hand appears in front of him but gets shattered in pieces, and Tachimukai is sent to the goal along with the ball. Mamoru, Doman and Kidu practice Death Zone 2 while the others are practicing with Shuya and Aphrodite. Fubuki looks at them training and walks away from the field. Mamoru notices him leaving as Aphrodite says in his mind that he will watch Raimon in his place until he comes back. Fubuki is then seen at the riverbank where kids are playing soccer, and he reminisces about what happened a while ago. The day arrives when they have a match with the Chaos in Tikoku Stadium and they are all waiting for Chaos to arrive. The rest of the Tikoku team is watching the audience. The match begins with Kakuma commentating and with Raymon's kickoff starting. Shuya and Aphrodite dash upward and Aphrodite passes the ball to Shuya. Droll steals the ball and charges forward and is able to get past Doman and Kabiyama. Gazel does Northern Impact and Tachimukai does Mage in the hand but fails and thus the Chaos scores first. Kiddo thinks that if they bring Mamoru up the field, it will destroy the rhythm of their defense, but Kiddo is determined that he will find a way to get past them. Kiddo finally understands their rhythm and manages to steal the ball from them, but then, he throws the ball in the sky where Mamoru, Doman and Kiddo all jumps at the same time to use Hisatsu technique, Death Zone 2. They manage to score the goal. Seeing that, Team Chaos wonders what kind of people they are as they just powered up in one day. Team Chaos's player then uses Atomic Flare move and shoots the ball straight towards Tachimukai, who then uses the Mage in hand to stop the ball. Seeing that, everyone gets surprised. The match continues and Gazel and Burn notice that their teammates are arguing and fighting among themselves, so they decide to use Fire Blizzard to show everyone that when they work together, they are unstoppable. At the same time, Team Chaos creates an ultimate defense by combining Frozen Steel and Ignite Steel, forming a powerful wall. Aphrodite tries to break through this defense but fails, and instead he gets injured and is forced to leave the field. Even though Aphrodite is hurt, Coach Hidemiko does not send in Rika as a substitute, which makes Rika angry and upset with the coach's decision. Just then, Gran suddenly appears and questions Team Chaos about what they are doing. Team Chaos answers that they will defeat Raimon and prove who is truly worthy of becoming Genesis. Later that evening, Gran meets with Coach Hidemiko in private and calls her by the name Sister, revealing a shocking connection between them. Later that day, all the Raimon players ask Coach Hidemiko about Gran and her relationship. Rika even believes that she might be a spy and everyone else wonders why she would disappear all of a sudden and do strange things. Mamoru then asks Coach if she is really Gran's sister, but she says that she is hiding few things. Hidemiko then states that if they want the answer, they must continue to ride on the Inazuma caravan and go to Mt. Fuji. Hearing that, everyone gets shocked, but Kiddo says that that's the place where aliens are located. Ichinos and Doman says that they are not ready to go to Mount Fuji, but Mamoru says that going there will let them learn everything about Aliia Academy. He then tells everyone that they should go to that place to learn more about what is really going on. Later that night, Fubuki trains by himself, repeatedly shooting the ball toward the goal, but he keeps missing and cannot score at all. Shuya later joins him, and the two of them practice together for a while. When it suddenly starts to rain, Fubuki panics, and the sound of thunder brings back painful memories of the avalanche that killed his family. Fubuki admits to Shuya that he hates being alone and feels afraid when those memories return. Shuya then leaves him, believing that Fubuki is the only one who can face and solve his own problems. While traveling afterward, Mamoru talks with the others about a Hisatsu called the Earth, which is written in his grandfather's notebook. After that, when they finally arrive at Mount Fuji, everyone is shocked to see a huge floating object in the sky that looks like an airship. Just then, Coach Hibiki appears and tells everyone that Coach Hidemiko is actually the mastermind behind Aliia Academy. Hibiki says that Hidemiko is the one who must explain why she has been making them fight against Genesis, but Hidemiko calmly responds that all the answers they are looking for are inside the ship. After that, everyone gets into their van and enters the ship, feeling confused and curious as they wonder what this strange facility is truly used for. Once inside, Hidemiko explains that the place is a weapons research facility owned by the Kira Financial Group. She then reveals an even bigger truth by saying that her father is Kira Seijiro, the president of the Kira Financial Group. Natsumi asks her if this means that Aliia Academy members are not real aliens, and Hidemiko replies that everything is connected to the Aliia meteorite. Suddenly, robots begin attacking Team Raimon by firing footballs at them, but despite the danger, Raimon works together and successfully defeats the robots using their soccer skills alone. The group then enters another room, where Kira Seijiro speaks to them and explains that the power they call alien strength is extremely powerful, but he also reveals that these so-called aliens are not real aliens at all. He goes on to explain that everything actually began 5 years ago, when certain human children gain enhanced abilities after being affected by the Aliia meteorite. He says that he once brought this idea to the Prime Minister, suggesting the creation of an army made up of powerful humans, but the Prime Minister rejects the plan, calling it unrealistic and dangerous. Kira Seijiro then reveals that the strongest team created from this idea is called the Genesis. After this revelation, Team Raimon prepares to face the Genesis in a match, and once the game begins, Raimon shows an impressive and powerful performance that surprises everyone watching. The match between Raimon and the Genesis continues and Raimon is now one goal behind, putting them in serious trouble. Tachimukai tries to protect the goal by using Mugen the hand, but he is unable to stop the powerful shots coming his way. Seeing this, Fubuki decides to return to the field because he wants to find his true answer about what soccer really means to him. However, Etsuya keeps taking control of his body and mind, making it hard for him to play freely. Shuya kicks the ball toward Fubuki and asks if he can hear the voices of his teammates calling out to him. At that moment, Fubuki finally understands what his father meant by the word perfect, realizing it is about playing soccer with others and trusting them. With this realization, Fubuki takes full control over Etsuya's soul and is able to play soccer without any hesitation. He then uses a new Hisatsu technique called Wolf Legend, which scores a goal and ties the match, giving Raimon new hope once again. However, Kira Seijiro suddenly reveals another shocking truth to everyone watching the match. He explains that while the power of the Aliia meteorite is used to strengthen humans, the Genesis team is actually made up of normal humans who become strong through intense training rather than relying on that energy. After this reveal, the Genesis shows their real strength and quickly scores another goal by using the powerful technique Supernova, which breaks through the improved Mugen the hand. With that goal, the score becomes 2-1, and the Genesis takes the lead over Team Raimon. Kira Seijiro then speaks to everyone and says that Raimon has changed greatly and become much stronger, but he claims that this only happens because they change the tools they use, which is how they managed to come this far. He even calls Raimon weak, and these words make Mamoru furious, causing him to rush forward on his own, though he quickly fails when facing them alone. Natsumi and Kino think that Mamoru is simply letting out his anger without thinking clearly, while Gran starts to wonder if Hidemiko really creates a team like this just to defeat him. Gran then tells Mamoru that he should return to being the goalkeeper, saying that beating them means nothing unless Mamoru is guarding the goal. After that, the Genesis team uses their powerful supernova move to shoot toward the goal, and Tachimukai tries to stop it with Mugen the hand but fails. In the end, Fubuki and Shuya work together and manage to block the ball, preventing the goal and saving the team. Later on, Coach Hidemiko explains that she wants to change her father's way of thinking about soccer and what it truly means. She admits that she cannot do it by herself but believes that she can achieve it if everyone works together as one team. Hearing this, all the members of Raimon come together, unify their feelings, and combine their strength to use a new Hisatsu technique called the Earth. Because of this powerful team move, Raimon won the match in the end. However, after Seijiro realizes his mistakes and understands that he was wrong, Olvida loses her temper toward their father and angrily kicks a ball at him. Afterward, Gran suddenly jumps in front of Seijiro, taking the hit himself to protect him, leaving everyone present completely shocked by his selfless action. Mamoru immediately rushes forward to help Gran up from the ground, worried about his condition. Olvida, confused and upset by what just happened, begins questioning Gran about why he would risk himself to save Seijiro, mistakenly thinking that Seijiro's earlier words implied that everyone on the team was a mistake. Gran, however, quickly speaks up to defend Seijiro, explaining firmly that Seijiro is still his father in his eyes and that he loves him unconditionally, no matter what has happened. In the process, Gran reveals a surprising truth: Seijiro is not actually his real father. He goes on to explain that he is an orphan who grew up in an orphanage. Gran also shares that his own name isn't really Gran, it originally belonged to Seijiro's real son, who had tragically passed away several years ago. As he continues, he reminisces about his childhood in the orphanage, and a flashback shows the Genesis team as children, revealing that all of them were orphans who grew up together, forming the strong bonds they share today. Seijiro obliges to Gran's speech but says he cannot be called father anymore by them at all, throwing the soccer ball back at Olvida, prompting her to kick it at him again. Olvida begins to, but starts to break down crying, saying that she could not in the end because Seijiro is the only father she ever had, along with the rest of them. Seijiro drops to the floor, wondering sadly why he used such loving children as tools for his revenge plan. Seijiro begins to tell them the reason why the Genesis project started, saying it was to avenge the death of his son Gran. Later, the whole of Aliia Gakuen begins to shake violently, with the academy soon breaking down into pieces everywhere. The Inazuma caravan drives into the academy, prompting everyone except Seijiro to escape into it. Gran rushes back to Seijiro, asking him to come with them. Seijiro shakes his head, until Mamoru starts yelling at Seijiro to come in so that the orphans would be happy. Gran cries, asking Seijiro once more to come with them into the caravan, and this time Seijiro agrees to come. Raimon makes their way back to Inazuma town, where they first pit stop at Raimon Junior High. There, Seijiro's right-hand man appears, holding a briefcase that he was seen earlier taking from somewhere. The man comments that Raimon has one more battle against Aliia Gakuin to face, showing 11 hooded people standing behind him. The one in the middle walks up to Mamoru, taking off his hood, revealing himself to be Kazemaru. After the match, Raimon heads back, but Kanzaki steps forward and introduces a new player who turns out to be Kazemaru. Soon, other familiar faces appear, and to everyone's shock, they are all former Raimon players. Kazemaru tells Mamoru that he should play a match with them. But Mamoru and the others notice a strange glow from the Aliia meteorite on Kazemaru's neck. Kanzaki then reveals that he has taken control of the Aliia meteorite from Kira Shigeru and proudly announces that he has created the ultimate super soldiers, calling them the Dark Emperors. Mamoru tries to warn Kazemaru that they've been tricked, but Kazemaru silently holds out his hand for a handshake. As Mamoru reaches to shake it, Kazemaru suddenly slaps his hand away and declares that they are here with their own free will. At first, Team Raimon refuses to play the match, but Kanzaki immediately threatens that if they don't, Raimon Junior High will be destroyed, leaving them with no choice. With no other choice, the team reluctantly agrees. The match kicks off, but almost immediately, Kazemaru steals the ball. He's lightning fast, slipping past everyone as if they aren't even there. He fires a shot without using any Hisatsu technique, shattering Kabayama's wall, but Tachimukai stands strong and blocks it with Mugen the hand. Meanwhile, Kanzaki's voice suddenly appears on every television screen across the city, announcing his army of new superhumans powered by the Aliia stone. The match heats up even more. Yamano strikes first, scoring with a dark tornado, and moments later, Samoka charges forward and uses Wyvern Crash, sending the ball into the net. By the end of the first half, the Dark Emperors are ahead, 2-0, leaving Raimon with a lot to think about. After that, Tachimukai tries to stop Samoka's shot by using the Mugen the hand technique, but he fails, giving the Dark Emperors a 2-point lead over Raimon. Mamoru then tries to block Kazemaru, but even with Shippu Dash, he can't stop him, and the ball goes through. Suddenly, Max and Handa use Revolution V together. Tachimukai tries to block the shot again, but he can't, and thanks to Mamoru, the ball doesn't hit the net. By the end of the first half, Raimon hasn't made a single shot, and the team feels like all hope is gone because Kazemaru and his teammates know exactly how Raimon plays and can beat them easily. Then Hibiki brings out Jusuk as the team's secret card, since the Dark Emperors have no idea how Jusuk plays. The second half starts, and Raimon still hasn't opened a path in the middle for Jusuk to take a clear shot. Jusuk uses Jusuk Boost, trying to score, but the shot doesn't go in. Fubuki gets the ball right after and unleashes Wolf Legend to score a goal successfully. Soon after, he and Shuya use Crossfire, scoring another goal and making a tie. Later, when Kazemaru is in control of the ball again, he calls Samoka and Max to unleash the Dark Phoenix, a Hisatsu that Kazemaru calls the strongest Hisatsu shoot that ever existed. Tachimukai fails to block this, conceding a goal of 2-3. After the catch, Tachimukai suddenly collapses, and Mamoru quickly looks at his hands, realizing that Tachimukai is seriously injured and can't continue as goalkeeper. Refusing to give up, Mamoru immediately steps in to take his place. Kazemaru smiles and tells Mamoru that he wanted to face him as goalkeeper, then fires powerful shots at the goal one after another without using any Hisatsu techniques. Mamoru blocks every single one with God Hand, pouring all his strength into each save to remind the Dark Emperors what real soccer is about. 3 months later, Team Raimon is practicing, so that they could become stronger after the incident with Ali Academy. During break, Kino realizes that there is something wrong with Natsumi, who then notices a girl watching from afar. Mamoru then quickly approaches the girl and asks if she is Fuyup, which shocks everyone. However, the girl doesn't seem to remember Mamoru at all and politely tells him that he might be mistaking her for someone else. She explains that the reason she had been watching them earlier was simply because she likes soccer and enjoys seeing it play. Just then, the girl's father arrives and takes her away, but despite this, Mamoru still feels certain that he knows her from somewhere. Amidst this, Mamoru suddenly remembers that he had overslept that morning, and his mother had already woken him up, warning him that he might be late because Hibiki had called him to arrive early. Hearing this, Mamoru quickly gets up, eats breakfast in a rush, and heads outside. As he hurries along, he notices someone seemingly following him, but whenever he looks back, the person stops moving. Curious, Mamoru calls out and asks the person why they are following him. The boy introduces himself as Torimaru and explains that he is lost because he doesn't know the location of Raimon. Understanding the situation, Mamoru guides him to Raimon, where Kogure, Jusuk, and Fubuki are already present, ready for soccer practice. Sakuma and Gran are there as well, all gathered together to play. Just at that moment, Gran introduces another newcomer to the group, who turns out to be Riai's, though he clarifies that his real name is actually Midorikawa Ryuji. Mamoru then brings Toramaru and introduces him to the team, but Hibiki arrives and says that the team is full and they all are candidates to become representative players for Japan. Hibiki explains the situation to everyone. There will be a match to determine the 16 representatives for Japan, and the whole group would be split into 2 separate teams. Mamoru will be the captain for the first team and Kidu will be the captain for the second team, and in the match they cannot use combination Hisatsu moves together. On the day of the match, it is shown that many other respective teams in the FF tournament came to watch the game, and mostly members of the other teams are there. Mamoru talks with the first group and encourages them to play their best. Kidu does the same thing for the second group. From far away, the girl that Mamoru saw earlier is standing there with her father, watching the match happen. Afterward, Team Raimon changes into their new uniforms, and the match begins. The players are split into 2 teams, with Mamoru leading the first team and Kidu leading the second. Both teams are determined to give their very best during the game. The match starts with Samoka running with the ball, but Kazamaru quickly steals it from him and passes it to Kidu, who then sends it back to Shuya. Shuya runs straight toward Mamoru and tries to shoot using his Fire Tornado Remastered technique, but Mamoru blocks it with his True God hand. The game keeps going, and Samoka tries another Wyvern Crash version 2, but Tachimukai stops it easily with Mage in the hand. He quickly passes the ball to Kidu, who tries to move forward but gets blocked by Fubuki. Kidu passes it to a teammate, but Kazamaru is ready and steals the ball. Soon after, Gran takes control and scores the first goal of the match. A few minutes later, Shuya from Team B answers back with Bakanetsu Storm, tying the score. The second half starts and both teams dive straight back into the fast, intense battle, each determined to take the lead. The score is tied when Midorikawa from Team B shoots Astro Break into the goal. Mamoru's team wins the match when Fubuki's Wolf Legend goes straight into the net. After the match, Hibiki tells everyone that he wants to introduce them to the coach of Japan's national team before announcing the results. The coach introduces himself as Kudu Michiya, and Hibiki explains that Kudu will help the players bring out their abilities better than anyone ever has before. Kudu then announces which players have been selected. The next day after preparations, Team Raimon starts practicing for the upcoming tournament, but the girls wonder where Toramaru is right now. Just then at that moment, Toramaru arrives at the practice field and tells everyone that he could not sleep last night, so he got late to practice, but Fudo makes fun of him, saying his mother should have sang a lullaby for him to help him sleep. Then Kudu arrives at the field and introduces his daughter, who is the same girl that Mamoru knows, named Fuyuka, and she will be joining as their manager as of today. Kudu then tells everyone on the team that they will not stand a chance against the world teams as they are right now, but as long as they do exactly as he tells them, they are good to go and win. After that speech, everyone gets back to practice and they all show amazing techniques like usual, and that shows that they are in good shape for the tournament. The coach then yells at Kabiyama for standing around the defense all the time. The next day during practice, Fudo charges at Kazamaru with a powerful tackle and manages to steal the ball from him. Everyone reacts in surprise at what just happened, but Kudu praises Fudo for his move on the field. Later that day, Otanashi and Megane decide to visit the Junior High Soccer Association headquarters to learn more about Coach Kudu and his background. While they're at the headquarters, they hear rumors that he is called the Cursed Coach by people. That afternoon after practice, Mamoru notices Samoka practicing alone on the field, thinking that he might later join the team because of the FFI's special rule that allows teams to change players between matches during the tournament. Then that night after everything, they find out that Japan is set to play against Australia's team, which is called the Big Waves. The following day, everyone becomes surprised that their coach named Kudu announces that they will not practice outside and they must remain at the training camp hall. Later, Megane mentions that he has top-secret information about Big Waves, to which everyone waits and observes, but it is interrupted by instead of videos of the Big Waves members playing on the beach, to which everyone just feels silly for believing Megane. Fuyuka declares that Megane is useless to them. But Aki and Otanashi declare that they both have minor information about big waves. Apparently they trained their bodies to handle the ocean and that they have a tactic that can block any attack. Mamoru once again desires to practice outside but is unable. They descend down the stairs to peek and observe Toramaru, who is allowed to depart, to which everyone questions why. Tuko and Rika visit to observe if Inazuma Japan is training and are surprised to observe that no one is practicing outside. Rika proceeds to the coach and questions why he does not permit them to train outside. Coach Kudu stares at Rika with a dark sharp stare and she departs away scared. Jusuk succeeds getting outside when he discovers Kudu empty from his monitoring seat. Tobitaka departs out also because he needs to finish something with his old gang. Kidu becomes angry and questions why Tobitaka is chosen since Tobitaka is not skilled at soccer, to which Kidu thinks that Samoko or Shadow would have been superior. Kidu proceeds to Shuya and mentions that he is frustrated with the coach, but Shuya declares that he will follow the coach as long as Mamoru trusts him. The team members talk and all of them become encouraged by what Mamoru mentions. The next day, in the match between Inazuma Japan and Big Waves begins. In the match between Inazuma Japan and Big Waves scores first using their Shoot Hisatsu Megalodon, and Mamoru fails to stop it with Seiji no Tekken G2. Hideyoshi Nakata and Luka watch the match from the stands as the pressure rises. Kidu Yudo feels regret because the team did not practice their positioning enough, but Mamoru, as captain, says he is excited to fight such strong opponents. Kazemaru adds that Mamoru's words always give him courage, which lifts the team's spirit again. Shuya tries to push the ball forward, but the box lock defense stops him. Big Waves attacks again, yet Mamoru makes a sharp side jump and catches the ball. Fubuki Shiro attempts to pass to Kiyama Gran, but box lock defense blocks them once more. Big Waves launches fierce attacks, and Mamoru barely manages to stop their shots. Coach Kudu Michiya reminds the team that the key to breaking the box lies within themselves. Kidu gets trapped again but remembers Kudu's words and his lonely training sessions. He finds an opening, keeps control, and passes to Shuya, breaking box lock defense. Shuya passes to Fubuki, who uses Wolf Legend, but Gene Baker stops it with Great Barrier Reef. Shuya's Bakanetsu Storm also fails. Midorikawa is knocked away by Gravestone, and Holly Summers breaks through with Kangaroo Kick. Kidu gets injured and is replaced by Torimaru, while Kudu rearranges positions and calls in Jusuk, ordering him to use his unfinished new shot. In the second half, Torimaru surprises everyone with his smooth dribbling. Jusuk searches for the hint to his technique and fails once, but when Big Waves uses Megalodon again, Mamoru awakens Seiji no Tekken G3 and blocks it. Jusuk then fires his new shot, breaks through Great Barrier Reef, and scores. Later, Kabiyama attacks forward, passes to Torimaru, and Shuya finishes with a new Hisatsu, Bakanetsu screw. Inazuma Japan wins 2-1 and advances to the next round. Later, Kudu tells the team that their next match in FFI's Asia preliminaries has been decided and their opponent is Kadar's team, Desert Lion. He explains that this team is characterized by their lasting endurance and the resilient strength of their lower bodies, so in order to fight them, they will need to fortify their basic physical strength and abilities. Mamoru suggests that they should practice their endurance by running around the field, to which they all agreed. Afterwards, Torimaru states that he has to leave. Everyone now wonders why he always leaves so early, to which Megain Kakeru and Otanashi try to be detectives and learn where Torimaru always goes. Otanashi tells Mamoru that Torimaru went into a restaurant located there, so Mamoru, Fuyuka, Otanashi and Shuya decides to go there, but on their way, they runs into some thugs. One of them tries to mess with Fuyuka, but Tobitaka arrives and scares them away. Later that day, the group arrives at the restaurant and discovers that Torimaru handles and works the whole place because his mother was actually sick and has a low health condition. After helping Torimaru with the restaurant work, the team leaves, but Shuya still wonders why he plays the way he does, passing the ball back even if he can score a goal himself. The next day after that, it is the second match in the FFI's Asia preliminaries, and the match begins with Team Raimon, that is now called Inazuma Japan, playing way better than before. Fubuki shows his amazing technique on the field but misses the goal, so Kazemaru scores the goal instead. During the second half of the match, Midorikawa falls on the ground as it looks like he trained too hard without rest before the match. The coach then replaces Midorikawa with Kurimatsu on the field. The match continues as Fubuki is replaced by Torimaru and he manages to easily obtain the ball and advances past the opponents. He prepares to shoot, but he recalls how he was rejected by his previous teammates and he delivers it back to Shuya, but it is intercepted. Tachimukai obtains the ball off Desert Lion in some way. Fudo continues complaining, to which Kudu mentions that if he has an issue, he mentions that Fudo should leave the bench. Torimaru manages to obtain the ball once more and Shuya instructs Torimaru to shoot, but he recalls how he was rejected once more and Torimaru delivers the ball to Shuya once more and he attempts Bakanetsu Storm to score a goal, but it is stopped by the catch Hisatsu known as Storm Rider. Shuya becomes frustrated once more that Torimaru refuses to shoot. Hibiki mentions that Torimaru restricted his plays because his previous teammates were unable to match his advanced plays, and because of that situation, he was rejected, so he had no alternative but not to reveal his genuine potential. Mamoru stops it, but another team attempt to shoot once more. It is an unexpected shot, so it penetrates through the goal, creating the score 2-2. Torimaru possesses the ball once more, but he delivers it once more to Shuya. who finally unleashes his frustration at Toramaru and questions why he refuses to shoot. He mentions that if he continues only supporting, everyone can score and participate joyfully, but Shuya mentions that type of soccer is not enjoyable. He mentions that everyone can match his plays since all of them are the most powerful of Japan and that they are currently competing against the finest of the world, so he must perform his genuine plays. Mamoru mentions that he should perform genuinely and supports him. Toramaru questions if it is acceptable and Shuya mentions that he must attempt and astonish them. Tobitaka and Kazamaru stop Desert Lion and Kidu delivers the ball to Toramaru. Toramaru impressively advances past 3 defenders smoothly. Toramaru now achieves a goal using a shoot Hisatsu that he mentions that he concealed for an extended time known as Tiger Drive. Inazuma Japan continues their practice, with Toramaru showing off his impressive skills to everyone on the team, drawing attention and admiration from his teammates. After some time, their coach, Kudo Michiya, announces that they have practiced enough for the day and that it is time to rest. However, Midorikawa objects, eager to keep training, though he remembers the lesson from the previous match and reluctantly agrees that he needs to rest. Meanwhile, Mamoru approaches Tobitaka Seiya to check if he has also taken a break with the rest of the team, but Tobitaka calmly replies that he prefers to practice alone. Just then, Fudo Akio enters, and the tension between him and Tobitaka escalates to the point that it almost turns into a fight. Mamoru quickly steps in and stops them before it can escalate further. Afterward, Tobitaka heads to his usual practice spot, where Hibiki guides him through his training, offering advice and encouragement. During this session, more is revealed about Tobitaka's past when Hibiki mentions that Tobitaka reminds him of himself when he was younger. It turns out that Tobitaka used to be a gangster, and in one incident, he was cornered by a group of enemies. Despite being heavily outnumbered, he tried to fight and defeat them all on his own. Known as Toby the Kicker, he was famous for his incredibly strong and precise kicks, but because of the overwhelming numbers, he was about to be defeated. Fortunately, Hibiki arrived just in time to intervene and save him, leaving a lasting impact on Tobitaka's life. Ever since then, Tobitaka is grateful to Hibiki, and Hibiki also asks that he should use his kicking skill for a good purpose. Mainly he asks that he should play soccer. Later, Mamoru goes to Rarikan to ask Hibiki some advice so that he can get to know Tobitaka more. Both talk and Mamoru thanks Hibiki, though when Mamoru leaves, Hibiki has a rough time breathing. After some time, Mamoru receives a call from Hibiki and he asks him to go to a certain place and that he will know what to do when he gets there. It is revealed that Hibiki is actually in hospital, and this reveals that he has a disease that has got to do with his heart. When Mamoru reaches the place where Hibiki says that he must go to, he sees Tobitaka practicing, but Tobitaka leaves to practice somewhere else. Mamoru goes to the riverbank in which Tobitaka is practicing and he is determined to help Tobitaka. The next day, Kido Yudo gathers the team and carefully explains that they need to develop new Hisatsu techniques in preparation for their final preliminary match, emphasizing how important it is to have fresh strategies ready. He then points out that Kazamaru should focus on learning and mastering a new Hisatsu technique, reminding everyone that during the selection match, when Kazamaru had passed by Jusuk, he created a strong wind effect, showing his potential for a powerful move. After addressing Kazamaru, Kido also instructs Fubuki Shiro and Hijikata Raiden to practice a combination shoot Hisatsu technique together. He explains that by combining Fubuki's incredible speed with Hijikata's stable body balance, the two of them could create a highly effective and devastating combination Hisatsu that would become a strong weapon for the team. Motivated by this, Fubuki and Hijikata agree enthusiastically and begin preparing to practice the technique together. Meanwhile, Midorikawa quietly eats his bread, observing the team with a smile as they excitedly discuss and brainstorm ideas for new Hisatsu techniques to use in the upcoming match. Seeing that, Jusuk suggests that he and Kabiyama should attempt a combination Hisatsu technique of their own, and Kido immediately approves the idea, encouraging them to try it out as well. Finally, Mamoru announces that they should start practicing, and everybody happily agrees to begin. At nighttime, Mamoru sees both Midorikawa and Kiyama practicing on the field. Midorikawa states that he is weak and he should not have been chosen for the team. Kiyama tells Midorikawa that he is overextending himself, and a flashback of Aliia Gakuen members playing soccer appears in Midorikawa's mind. Kiyama encourages Midorikawa to play his own strong soccer and the two continue practicing together. During practice the next day, Midorikawa is able to get the ball from Toramaru, claiming that he will play and show his soccer skills. The next day, Neo Japan comes and asks to have a match against Inazuma Japan to get the representative seat, surprising everyone present. Kudo Michiya agrees to this and the two teams have a match. Meanwhile, Inazuma Japan is having trouble against Neo Japan's surprisingly tight defense formation. Afterward during the match, Neo Japan manages to score after breaking through Mamoru's Fist of Justice technique and scores their first point. The match then continues forward with Team Neo Japan using their special techniques to completely dominate against Inazuma Japan team. Sajanuma then gets a flashback of his past where he used to struggle all the time and watched Inazuma Japan players playing on the field. Sajanuma and his teammate then throw another ball towards Mamoru, who then manages to stop it successfully. Sajanuma once again gets the ball and runs straight towards Mamoru and quickly passes to Sagata, who uses his Reflect Buster V2 technique to shoot the ball towards Mamoru. He follows up by using his Fist of Justice again and successfully stops another powerful shot. Since Kazemaru is clearly exhausted, he gets substituted and Utsunomiya takes his place on the field. The match keeps going as Kidu steals the ball, and soon it reaches Kazemaru, who pushes himself and gives everything he has left. The first half ends with his teammates praising him and telling him that he did a great job. The second half begins with the score tied, and both teams clash directly, going head-to-head without holding back. Sajanuma then fires his God Knows Remastered technique at Mamoru, but Mamoru responds by using Fist of Justice once more, stopping the ball and sending it out of bounds. In the end, Inazuma Japan secures the victory once again, finishing the match as the winning team. Shuya goes back home to pick up some things he left behind and tells his little sister that he has to leave again, but his father arrives and ignores him completely. The next day, the team continues their practice, and everyone is full of energy as they prepare for the upcoming match. However, Shuya does not play like his usual self, which surprises Mamoru, who asks him if something is wrong. At the same time, Kidu asks Hibiki if there is a reason he has stepped down as their coach, but Hibiki replies that he has other work to handle that is just as important. Later that evening, Shuya is walking back home when Toramaru suddenly kicks a ball at him, but Shuya blocks it without trouble. Toramaru then tells Shuya that the two of them should try creating a technique that works every single time. After that, Shuya returns home, where his father once again questions his future and strongly tells him to quit soccer. The following day, the principal calls Shuya to the office after receiving a request from his father, who wants the school to force him to leave the sport. Later that night, Shuya talks with his maid, Fuku-san, who reminds him that before his mother passed away, his father always supported him and never missed any of his soccer matches. She explains that after his mother's death and Yuka's accident, his father changed completely and stopped caring about Shuya's dreams. Hearing this, Shuya finally makes up his mind and later meets his father in his hospital office to speak seriously with him. He promises that he will quit soccer and go to Germany, but only if he is allowed to play in the next match and help his team reach the world stage. After hearing his decision, his father agrees to the condition. The next day, the team starts their practicing session when Kino quickly runs over to inform Mamoru that he just received a letter from someone who did not include any return address on it. Mamoru decides to open the letter to find out what is inside, and he discovers that it has the same exact handwriting style as his grandfather's notebook that he has been carrying around. The letter contains a message that says that someone is waiting for him somewhere, which makes the other teammates think and suspect that Daisuke might be involved and connected to one of the participating national teams in the tournament. Megane suggests and says that it might be some kind of trap that is being set up by another team to trick them, but Tachimukai argues back and retorts that the messy and rough handwriting style is completely identical to the one that appears in the notebooks, and that no one else can possibly replicate and copy it that accurately. Later that day, Mamoru decides to bring the mysterious note to Hibiki to get his opinion, and Hibiki reluctantly and hesitantly tells him during their conversation that there is a real possibility that his grandfather might still be alive somewhere, but nothing is completely finalized or confirmed yet at this point. While walking back to the training camp from the ramen shop, he encounters Shuya training somewhere and stops to talk to him. He notices that Shuya seems more depressed than usual and asks him about his situation. Shuya hesitantly tells Mamoru about the fact that he will be quitting soccer after the finals due to his father's orders. Hearing that, Mamoru gets furious and asks him why his father is making him quit right away and study abroad. The next day, Mamoru approaches Coach about it, but he tells him that he can't do anything as his father requested for Shuya to not even enter the next match. The next day, Megane tells everyone that their next match is against Korea's Team Fire Dragon. Later that day, Mamoru approaches Shuya's dad and asks him to let Shuya play that match, but he just ignores him. On their way, Inazuma bus stops because of Tobitaka's old friends who stopped them. The boys are refusing to let them go, so Tobitaka tells Mamoru and others to leave without him, but Mamoru says that they can't leave a single person behind. At that moment, Tobitaka's friends arrive, including Suzume, to fight with the bad guys. Afterward, the Inazuma team leaves for the finals and they were shocked because Aphrodite, Burn and Gazel were in the Fire Dragon, along with Choi Chang-soo. Choi Chang-soo warns Inazuma Japan to be very careful because there is a dragon hiding and lurking somewhere on the field. Inazuma Japan does not understand what his words mean or what he is trying to tell them. Right at that moment, Megane Kakeru tells all of them to be careful and watch out for Choi Chang-soo because he is Korea's command tower who has complete control and mastery of the entire field, and he is truly the best genius strategist of all time in the game. After that, Coach Kudo asks Mamoru if he thinks that Inazuma will win the match, so Mamoru replies back to him that they are going to win no matter what happens. Kudo tells him that the way things are going right now, Inazuma Japan is not going to win the game. If Mamoru does not understand this situation, then he has failed in his role as a captain of the team. The match then begins and starts without Mamoru being on the field. Everyone on the Inazuma team wonders and asks why Mamoru is not playing in the match with them. Choi Chang-soo then passes the ball over to Aphrodite on his team. Aphrodite then uses his special Hisatsu technique called Shin God Knows to take a shot at the goal, but the shot is stopped and blocked by Tachimukai's defensive move called Mugen the Hand G5. Then, Shuya tries to get the ball away but it ends up being a foul on the play. Kidu tells him not to rush things because the match has only just started and there is still a lot of time left. The match continues and keeps going with Fire Dragon taking a corner kick, and Tobitaka manages to get control of the ball. Kidu tells him not to hold onto the ball for too long and informs him that both Gran and Midorikawa Ryuji are free and open to receive a pass, but Tobitaka does not listen to what he is saying. Then Burn and Gazel work together and get the ball away from him and take control of it. They get past both Kabiyama and Hijikata Raiden as they move forward and are ready to take a shot at the goal, but they are stopped and blocked by Fubuki Shiro's new Hisatsu technique that is called Snow Angel. Then Fubuki steals the ball back from them and passes the ball over to Hijikata, and together they shoot using their new Hisatsu combo shoot that is called Thunder Beast, and they score a point for their team. After that, Inazuma Japan scores the first point in the game and Kidu makes a promise that he will keep the team working together until Mamoru comes back to join them. The match then keeps going with the Fire Dragon team running forward with the ball, but Midorikawa tries to take the ball away from them but he is not able to do it. Fubuki then manages to steal the ball away from Fire Dragon and gets control of it. Then when Fubuki passes the ball over to Jusuk, that is when Choi Chang-soo starts to use the perfect tactics that are called Perfect Zone Press. This tactic traps both Jusuk and Fubuki inside of it, and as the opponents come closer and closer to them, they try charging forward to break through, but instead both of them end up charging straight at each other and both get injured really badly from the collision. Kidu is then shocked and surprised at this tactic and what just happened to his teammates on the field. Then, Suzuno Fusuk takes time to explain the tactic to Kidu, telling him that it blocks the opponents and also blocks their way of thinking clearly, which causes them to act without thinking things through properly. He says that even Kidu is confused and does not know what he should do against the tactic they are facing. Then, right before the second half continues and play starts again, the coach of Inazuma Japan, who is named Kudo Michiya, decides to take Midorikawa out of the game because he is pushing himself too hard and his movements are getting sloppy and not as good as before. He also puts Kidu on the bench because Kidu's knee is actually injured and he is just pretending that it does not hurt him. Then, Kudo makes a decision that surprises everyone who is watching. He puts Fudo Akio into the game to play on the field. The second half starts with Fire Dragon doing the kickoff to begin. Aphrodite passes the ball over to Nagumo and both of them charge forward together along with the whole Fire Dragon team moving up the field. But Inazuma Japan also starts moving at the same time, and Fudo starts to run forward as well. The match then continues with Fudo stealing the ball from the opposite team player and running, but others wonder why the coach dared to put Fudo in the game. Fudo then hits his teammate with the ball to avoid the opponent, but then, he continues to hit another player Kazamaru and gets the ball back. Fudo then tries to score a goal on his own but fails miserably at the attempt. Kidu then wonders why Fudo was even chosen for the team. Then, Hibiki states the whole reason why Fudo acts that way and why he was chosen. When Fudo was still little, his father had no choice but to take up the failures of his boss. Because of this situation, they were always asked by debt collectors for money. Back then, his mother tells him that he needs to become stronger, but Fudo misunderstands her words and takes them the wrong way. Because of that moment, Fudo starts acting the way he does and continues behaving like that ever since. After this, Torimaru and Shuya try to show their new technique, but it completely fails and doesn't work at all. Seeing this, Coach Kudo decides that Mamoru should play in the match. When the game starts, Fudo once again misses a pass to Kazamaru and keeps struggling with his passes throughout the match. Kidu later manages to take control of the ball and attempts to score, but the opposing team's goalkeeper blocks the shot. Even so, Team Inazuma Japan keeps up their strong performance and eventually scores another goal. After winning the match against Fire Dragons, Team Inazuma Japan gets back to the airport, so that they can go to Lyakot Island. However, Midorikawa and Fubuki are being replaced, so they are actually sad about it, but Mamoru tries to encourage them. Sometime later, Team Inazuma Japan arrives and lands on Lyakot Island, but when they land there, Mamoru finds a letter from Natsumi waiting for him in his room. He then goes down to the beach to meet up with her and learns some shocking news that his grandfather is still alive and has not died. Mamoru then decides to start his training right away, so he goes out to look for a tire that he can use for practice, but he searches and looks everywhere around the area and does not seem to find anything that he can use. He then accidentally runs into another player while he is on his way looking around, so both of them start running and chasing after a car that took away and stole the boy's ball. Eventually, after running for a while, Mamoru helps the boy get back his ball from the car, and the boy says that Mamoru is actually really fast at running. The boy introduces himself to Mamoru and tells him that his name is Fidio Aldina and he is from the Italy team. Mamoru asks him if he has permission to borrow the tire for his soccer practices and training, and Fidio agrees to help him set it up so he can use it. The next day, Mamoru continues doing his training with the tire early in the morning because he wants to win the upcoming matches, but then Shuya also decides to join him in the training. Mamoru then tells the entire team that they are going to compete and play against the best guys in the whole world with everything they have got. The next day, the team travels and goes to the field by ship as the coach tells all of them what their positions will be on the field. After that, the first match of FFI's Group A between Knights of Queen and Inazuma Japan has begun and started at Umehibe Stadium where they will play. Kabiyama and Mamoru manage to work together and stop the shot called Excalibur thanks to the combined power of both of their techniques working at the same time to block it. But Inazuma Japan is now in for some really big troubles and problems that are waiting ahead for them. Knights of Queen decide to use their special Hisatsu tactic that is called Absolute Knights, and this tactic makes it very difficult and hard for Inazuma Japan to attack and move forward with the ball. And when Edgar uses his technique Excalibur again, but this time he shoots it from a long distance away from the goal, the combo plays that Kabiyama and Mamoru use together cannot stop it from going into the goal and scoring a point for the other team. It seems and appears that Excalibur is actually a shot that grows stronger and gets more powerful the further away it is shot from the goal when Edgar takes the shot. The match then continues and keeps going with Kabiyama falling down on the ground, but the coach tells Samoka to get ready because it is his turn to go into the game. Owen from the other team runs forward towards Inazuma Japan's goal and then he takes a shot at it, but he misses the goal completely. The ball is now with the Team Inazuma players and they break through the Knights' defense as they move forward, but one of the players from the other team manages to steal the ball away from them. Just as he passes it to another player on his team, Samoka steals the ball back and gives it over to Shuya to move it forward. Then, Samoka uses his special Dragon Slayer technique to shoot the ball towards the goal and scores a goal for his team. Then, Knights of Queen decides to use their second Hisatsu tactic that is called Mutiki no Yari, and this protects Edgar and the ball while making it completely impossible to get close and approach him. Edgar scores again using another one of his techniques, and England takes the lead and is ahead once more in the match. During the halftime break, Mamoru meets the Red Cap man again at the stadium, and he says something to Mamoru that might be an idea for Mamoru's new technique that he can develop. But first, Japan must find a way to break down and take down Mutiki no Yari if they do not want to lose and give up more goals to the other team. In the end, Inazuma Japan wins the match. Later on, Kidu and Sakuma notice Fudo talking secretly with an unfamiliar man, which immediately raises their suspicion. Because of this, the two of them decide to look for the man to confirm whether he is truly Kageyama, just as they suspect, but no matter how much they search, they are unable to find him anywhere. This strange situation and the mystery surrounding the unknown man cause Kidu and Sakuma to worry deeply, and their concern grows so strong that they begin to lose their focus during soccer practice. Even Fudo himself becomes distracted and is unable to properly concentrate on training. Due to this clear lack of focus and seriousness from the players, Coach Kudu makes a strict decision to stop them from training and prevents them from continuing practice because their minds are clearly not in the right place. After some time passes, Fudo suddenly disappears and cannot be seen anywhere around the training area. Believing that Fudo may have gone to contact or secretly meet Kageyama once again, Kidu decides to act and goes out to search for him around the surrounding area. Sakuma decides to go after him too to help with the search, and while he is searching around looking for Fudo, he accidentally runs into someone who looks like and resembles Kidu walking around. Then coincidentally, all three of them end up getting into the same bus together, along with Mamoru, who also went out searching for them and is surprised to see Mamoru entering and stepping onto the bus with them. Meanwhile, Italy's national team practices for their next match under the guidance of their captain named Fidio Aldina. A man arrives claiming to be their new coach, calling himself Mr. K, and he immediately fires the entire team and declares he will replace them, giving them only one chance to prove themselves worth. Fidio and the team strongly oppose him and disagree. Later, Fidio says they must find a new place to practice, and Blasi comments that if their former captain were around, he would know what to do. Fidio confidently says their old captain will return when needed by them. The former captain is shown elsewhere playing soccer with villagers in a different location. His friend Luca tells him that Mr. K has taken control of Orpheus, suggesting the team may become stronger under him. As Orpheus moves to their new practice area, a falling tree severely injures Blasi, costing him his right arm completely. Angelo reports that 7 other players are also badly injured, leaving only 7 members fit to play in matches. While Fidio visits the hospital, falling wooden pillars nearly hit him, but a ball knocks them away. Kidu saves him, joined by Mamoru and Sakuma arriving there. Kidu suspects the accidents are planned by Kageyama and believes Mr. K is actually Kageyama Reiji in disguise. Later, Kidu confronts Kageyama, who reveals his goal is revenge and the destruction of Inazuma Japan completely. After escaping, Kageyama leaves Kidu shaken, so Kidu decides to help Italy in their upcoming match, though he remains deeply troubled by Kageyama's warning. Later, Mamoru and the others decide to help Team Italy, but their injured player asks Mamoru why people from Japan's national team are going to such lengths for an enemy like them. Mamoru tells him that they are not enemies but rivals, and when they first came to this island, he met Fidio and he wanted to play with everyone on the world stage. Italy's goalkeeper, Blasi, then tells Mamoru to protect their goal. Later, Team Inazuma and Italy approaches Mr. K, who turns out to be Kageyama Reiji. Just then, Kidu's lookalike steps forward and Kageyama introduces him as Demonio Strata. The match starts with the ball in Team K's position. Team K shows their skills clearly and easily moves past Orpheus, making it look almost effortless. After seeing how badly Orpheus is being pushed back, Kidu steps in and takes charge of fixing the team's formation. He carefully rearranges their positions, and because of this, Orpheus slowly manages to strengthen their defense and make it harder for Team K to break through again. Even so, Team K surprises Kidu and the others once more by skillfully passing through the tighter defense, proving that they are still one step ahead. They move forward and try to take a shot at the goal, believing they can score, but their attempt fails when Mamoru reacts in time and catches the ball securely. Seeing this play, Gigi comments that Mamoru is really good at being a goalkeeper, clearly impressed by how calmly and confidently he stops the shot. As the game goes on, Kidu continues to struggle, not just against the opposing team but also against the lingering effect of Kageyama's curse on his mind. Even when Kidu explains his reasons and thoughts, he is still filled with worry and doubt, and for a moment, it seems like he might fall back under Kageyama's influence again. At that point, Fudo firmly speaks up and says that they are not puppets or tools created by Kageyama. It is then revealed that Fudo is not on Kageyama's side at all, and that he also wants to defeat Kageyama and put an end to his control once and for all. Afterward, Kidu and Fudo are having a hard time getting Orpheus together as a team. Fidio tries to block Team K's advance but he fails to do so against them. Demonio uses Kudai Penguin X again and Mamoru uses Ikari no Tetsui but fails to completely stop it. To change the direction of the shoot, he uses Shin Neketsu Punch and successfully blocks it, to which Fidio becomes stunned. Mamoru then states that the worst is over and starts dribbling to the field and passes Fidio. Fidio then sees Mamoru that he is exactly like Orpheus' previous captain. Afterwards, Kidu realizes that he should not have been afraid and fixes the team's formation. Orpheus goes to the field and passes through the defense with Fidio's dribbling, the reason why he is called the White Meteor. Afterwards, Fidio tricks the keeper by making the keeper think that it is a shot but it is a pass to Mamoru. Mamoru then uses Megaton Head and scores a goal. Afterwards, Kidu and Fudo think to use their Hisatsu that they have been practicing, to which they try but fail to make it, in which is still incomplete. Team K then explains the reason why they sided with Kageyama. After that, they try it one more time. Kidu asks Fidio to give them one more chance, to which Fidio passes through Team K and passes the ball to Kidu. Kageyama tries to lure Kidu again but Kidu states his future is with Mamoru, the person who plunged on forward to the future and breaks through Kageyama. Afterwards, Sakuma explains that the thing they miss in their Hisatsu is height, and afterwards, they use Kudai Penguin 3 go and score through, making the score 2-1. Afterwards, Team K awakens and apologizes and states that they will play their soccer. The match ends with Orpheus win. Kageyama congratulates Orpheus for winning, though Kageyama asks if it is okay for Kiryu, Mamoru, Sakuma and Fudo to be here, and the screen shows that the match of Inazuma Japan and the Empire is about to start. Mamoru and the others are surprised. Sakuma thinks that their match against Argentina should have been tomorrow. Then, they realize that it is actually planned by Kageyama Reiji. After that, the match between Inazuma Japan and the Empire begins, but Mamoru is not present on the field because he is still too far away to arrive in time. Because of this situation, Inazuma Japan has no choice but to continue playing without their captain, Mamoru, without their main game strategist, Kiryu Yudo, and also without their coach, Kudo Michiya. As soon as the match between the Empire and Inazuma Japan starts, the difference between the two teams becomes very clear. The Empire's players are able to take the ball away from Inazuma Japan with ease, showing their strong coordination and skill. While observing the match, Kiryu explains that Inazuma Japan has been focusing too much on the idea that they must break through the enemy's defense, and because of this overthinking, their plays are backfiring badly and causing mistakes. Fideo Aldina also comments on the situation, stating that Inazuma Japan is clearly struggling in this match because there is no one properly leading the team on the field. He explains that this lack of leadership is the main reason why the match feels completely unbalanced and mismatched from the start. Kiyama Gran notices this, which is why Gran starts to order the team and their passes start to connect. Kazemaru passes through easily using his dribble Hisatsu. Afterwards, Shuya uses Bakanetsu screw but is stopped by Iron Wall. Afterwards, the Empire has easily passed through Inazuma Japan and they score a goal, and Tachimukai is not able to block it with Mugen the hand G5. The first half ends with the Empire in the lead with 1-0. The Empire shocks Inazuma Japan by switching from their usual defensive style to sharp, fast passing. Leon breaks through and scores with Hellfire, overpowering Tachimukai's Mugen the hand G5. Aki and Megane note that the Empire's offense is strong but often overlooked because of their famous defense. After kickoff, Gordo Diaz steals the ball and Leon scores again when Tachimukai's Majin the hand fails. As pressure mounts, Kazemaru sacrifices himself to stop Leon, kicking the ball out but injuring his leg and leaving the match. Kurimatsu replaces him, Tobitaka moves to midfield, and Gran takes over as captain. When Leon attacks again, Tobitaka encourages Tachimukai to fight without fear. This time, Tachimukai completes Majin the hand and stops Hellfire, ending the first half with Inazuma Japan down 2-0. In the second half, the Empire dominates using their tactic, guiding attackers toward goalkeeper Teles, who blocks every shot with Iron Wall. Shuya, Samoka, and Torimaru all fail to score. Coach Kudo reflects that the team has relied too much on Kiryu and Mamoru and must grow on their own. Regaining confidence, the defenders coordinate a new plan, trusting Tachimukai to guard the goal. Through teamwork, Gran, Shuya, and Torimaru unleash Grand Fire, finally scoring and breaking the Empire's perfect record. In the end, Team Empire wins the match that surprises everyone in Inazuma. Later that evening, Mamoru and the others watch a match between Knights of Queen and Unicorn, cheering for Doman and Ichinos. Unicorn manages to win the match, but Mamoru notices that Ichinos' play seems different from before. The team then decides to go practice except for Kino, who watches the match again and realizes that Ichinos plays while being frustrated, and that's the issue. The next day, Kino meets with Ichinos, who tells her to come to America and watch his matches and leaves. At the same time, Doman was watching them. The next day, Inazuma Japan trains hard, excited to face Unicorn. Mamoru says that no matter how much Ichinos changes, he is still their friend. Aki goes to America's area to see Ichinos but meets Doman instead. Doman avoids her questions, making it clear he is hiding something. Later, it is revealed that Ichinos' old injury has not healed and he needs surgery, which could end his soccer career. He fears losing the chance to face Mamoru properly. Despite this, he decides to play with everything he has. On match day, Aki overhears Doman explaining Ichinos' condition. The surgery has only a 50% success rate. The match begins, and Ichino scores first, increasing Mamoru's determination to fight back. The match continues with Shuya passing the ball to Samoka, but Ichino steals it, but Kazemaru steals the ball back from Ichinos. In the end, the ball gets to Shuya, who uses his technique to shoot the ball towards the goal, but Doman blocks it using Volcano Cut V2. Inazuma Japan and Unicorn goes head-to-head with each other, but then, the ball gets to Shuya again. Ichinos quickly steals the ball from him and shoots at Mamoru. However, Mamoru manages to block the shot using the Majin hand. The game keeps going when Fubuki Shiro gets the ball and moves past Ichinos during the play. Working together on the field, Fubuki and Kazemaru use their brand new combination special move that they have been practicing, which is called the Hurricane, and they score a goal because Billy is not able to stop their powerful shot even when he tries to use his own special move called Flash Upper to block it. And when the first half of the match finally comes to an end, both teams are tied with the same score. After the first half finishes, Mamoru then goes to the washroom to take a break, but while he is walking down the hallway on his way there, he accidentally hears a private conversation that is happening between Ichinos and Kino as they are talking to each other, so because Mamoru hears them speaking, they both decide to tell Mamoru about the serious news that this match might be Ichinos' last game that he ever plays because he needs to have an important surgery coming up soon. After this sad news and conversation, the second half of the match starts up again with two different players who are on the Unicorn team working together and using their special Hisatsu move to shoot the ball toward the goal, which Mamoru is not able to block or stop. Afterward, the match continues with Dylan and Mark heading towards Inazuma Japan's goal. They tries to score a goal but Mamoru clears the area by hitting the ball outside the field. Everyone thinks that Ichinos and Mamoru are doing amazingly as Mamoru is answering with his all to Ichinos' all-out plays. The match then continues again with the Inazuma shooting the ball towards Unicorn's goalkeeper who blocks it using his technique. The coach then tells Jusuk that it's his kick now, but everyone gets shocked as they think Jusuk have no experience at making a corner kick before. Jusuk then takes a direct shot that goes past all of the players on the field and lands inside the net to score a goal. The score is now tied up between both teams and whichever team makes the next goal is going to win the entire match. The match then keeps going with the Unicorn players surrounding and crowding around Mamoru's goal area to put pressure on the defense, and Ichinos takes a shot toward the goal but Jusuk manages to block the ball before it goes in. Both teams are then going back and forth against each other in an intense competition, and at some point during the game, the coach makes the decision to replace Kabiyama and Jusuk by taking them out and putting in Kogure and Hijikata and Fudo to play instead. The ball then ends up getting to Shuya, who successfully manages to score another point for his team, and then, the back and forth intense match seems to keep continuing between both sides. The coach of Unicorn then makes the decision to replace Ichinos and take him out of the game because of his health condition and the surgery he needs, and in the end, when the match finally finishes, Inazuma Japan wins the match against their opponents. The next day after their previous match, Kino gathers everyone together and tells them that their last match in the preliminary leagues against Orpheus is finally here and coming up, and he explains that only the top two teams in Group A will be able to move on and advance to the finals tournament. Later on, the team gets back to their usual practice routine and training sessions, and everyone on the team seems to be moving well and performing nicely during their exercises. While the team is training on the field, Kidu suddenly has a flashback memory of him talking to Kageyama in the past, who told him during their conversation that he will completely destroy Inazuma Japan when they arrive at Italy's area for the tournament. At the same time, Team Orpheus is going through their own training program with Kageyama as their coach, and the players are wondering and questioning if the practice sessions they are doing really have any actual meaning or purpose behind them. Later on, Fideo is seen getting a package that is delivered to him from the captain of his team. The package contains a video recording of a match that happened between the Japan national team and the Korean national team, and Fideo is really amazed and impressed by the way Japan plays during the game. The next day after watching the video, the match between Orpheus and Inazuma Japan starts to begin, and the game gets intense and heated almost immediately right after it has started playing. Orpheus team seems to be having some kind of fight or disagreement happening between Fideo and the rest of his teammates on the field, which is the reason why Japan is able to make the first point and score a goal so soon in the match. The match continues with Orpheus having the ball, and the player named Raphael takes the ball and heads towards Inazuma's goal all by himself. Kidu then tells Shuya and Samoka to put pressure on them from the sides. Sakuma then manages to steal the ball from Raphael because of Kidu's strategy, and they quickly runs to the opposite side. Shuya then tries to get the ball, but Fideo appears out of nowhere and clears the ball. After Inazuma Japan's early goal, many of Orpheus's members still didn't want to listen to Fideo because he trusts Mr. K, which is why Japan continued to get the better of them. Though Fideo even saved them from potentially losing another point, most of them didn't seem to appreciate what he had done and didn't listen to his orders. Fideo, believing Mr. K could take them to a new level, begged his team to put their trust in him for 5 minutes, which they accepted, because Blasi said that they would agree with it. After that, the match continues with Sakuma throwing the ball to Kidu, who passes it to Sumiaka. However, Orpheus manages to steal the ball and it gets to Fideo. The game continues as Kageyama accepts that he sought after his father, to go soccer. The match then continues with Orpheus showing impressive skills that surprises Kidu and the others. Torimaru then gets to the field as well, so Kidu tells him to push his way up front if he has to. Torimaru then runs with the ball for an attack, but Orpheus's players completely traps him, so he tries to break through, but Fidio then steals the ball from him and shoots it towards his teammate. However, Raphael manages to dodge him and shoots a freezing shot that goes past Kabayama's technique, but Mamoru manages to barely block the shot. Everyone thinks that Orpheus's Hisatsu tactics are still as mighty as ever. Fudo then gets to the field to deliver a message from the coach, saying he wants Kiddo to bring it in. The match continues with Kiddo having the ball, and this time he gets through Orpheus's famous technique easily. He then passed the ball to Shuya, who then manages to score a goal for the team. The first half then ends, and then Nakata approaches Kabayama along a girl named Rush. Nakata tells him that it was her wish that the first thing she wanted to see was his soccer. Nakata then tells Kabayama that he is not the person he once were, and he once used dirty methods it took to avenge his hate for soccer. However, Rush smiles at Kabayama and says that she healed all because of him. Afterward, the second half begins with Nakata arriving at the field to play Oswell. Kiddo watches Orpheus carefully and realizes their play style is very different from the first half. Hyde explains that the team used to depend on him too much, which is why he left, but now they are stronger. Fidio then shoots another ball which Mamoru tries to stop but fails, but just as it goes inside, Kiddo blocks it. Orpheus quickly regains possession using Catenaccio counter, and Hyde shocks everyone by using his shoot Hisatsu, brave shot, which scores and puts Orpheus in the lead. Kiddo tries to break their tactic but cannot. He then takes time to reflect and think deeply on what kind of soccer he truly wants to play and what matters most to him, and when he looks around at the field, he realizes and understands that the answer to his question is his teammates who are surrounding him. Hyde tries to score another goal again with his powerful brave shot technique, but this time during the play Mamoru manages to block it successfully with an evolved and upgraded version of his move called the hand kai. The ball is then passed through the entire team from player to player until it finally reaches Kiddo, who is ready to make a play, and he finally breaks through the defensive tactic with the help of Sakuma and Fudo working together with him. Together as a united team, they score a goal using their combined special move called Kudiai Penguin 3 Go, and this goal ends the match in a tie between both teams. After the match has finished, Garshield gives orders to Hentaker to kill Kageyama and eliminate him. Kiddo makes the decision to remove his goggles from his face. Kageyama looks at him and smiles, saying out loud that it has been a very long time since he actually saw Kiddo's eyes without anything covering them. After his arrest by the police, Kageyama ends up dying in a truck accident. Meanwhile, Rika is stuck in a palace and tries to look for a way to escape, but then, a guy enters the room and quickly closes the window. The guy also brings breakfast for her and says that once she is done eating, she should come with them to the purification room. At the same time, two people in the castle are talking about the revival of Demon Lord. On the other hand, Team Inazuma Japan finally arrives at the palace as well. They quickly ask three people to give back Rika, but they tell them that she is to be offering who will reinstate peace to Liaquat Island. They further explain that she is to marry the Demon Lord who revives every millennium. The people of Palace and Team Inazuma then decides to hold a soccer match to decide. However, Team Inazuma manages to defeat them and rescue Rika safely. Afterward, the final match of the tournament of Group B is going on against the Kingdom and France. Both teams show amazing performance during the match, but in the end, the Kingdom wins the match. Coach Kudu tells Inazuma that their opponent in the semifinals is the Kingdom. Later that day, everyone continues with their practice, but a player from the Kingdom named Raniho arrives at the Inazuma base to look for Mamoru. Raniho tells Mamoru that in the semifinals with their team, the Kingdom, and Inazuma Japan he should lose. Hearing that news, Mamoru freaks out and panics, but Raniho tells him seriously that they have to win the match no matter what happens. However, Mamoru tells him back that they are going to fight against the Kingdom team with all of their strength and power. Later, Gran shows Mamoru the preliminary data that they have collected from the Kingdom team, and they realize and discover that their past success rate is an incredibly high 93%. Later that same day, after looking at the data, Mamoru, Kiddo, Gran and Hijikata go out together to explore the area, and they find a boy and his little brother getting kicked out of Brazil's building by someone. Mamoru tells everyone on his team that they will free the Kingdom team from Garshield's clutches and control over them. Later that night, when it gets dark, the Inazuma team makes the decision to sneak inside Brazil's base secretly to steal the important data that they need, and they even manage to get out of there safely without being caught after successfully getting the data they came for. Inazuma Japan is shocked by the important data that they managed to steal from Garshield's mansion, which revealed and exposed his evil plan to take over the entire world. If they decide to give the stolen data to the police authorities, Garshield will definitely go to jail and be arrested, and the Kingdom team will finally be able to play their own soccer without being controlled. Coach Hibiki volunteers and offers to take the data to the police station himself, while Mamoru and Hijikata make plans to go to tell the kingdom the good news about what is happening. However, Hibiki is not able to complete his important task because he experiences another severe chest pain while he is on his way to the police station, and he had been having some of these painful episodes as shown in various different episodes before this particular moment, which was being caused by a very serious heart condition that he has been dealing with. Nonetheless, the stolen data still somehow makes it to the police authorities through another way. But to their shock when they arrive, Garshield suddenly appears at the stadium where the match is about to begin and start. He had managed to pull the strings and use his connections with the police and got away without being arrested or facing any consequences. After finally arresting Garshield, the Kingdom team is now freed from his control, but one thing makes them worried and concerned before Garshield leaves the area. All of their family members will not have jobs anymore because Garshield is being arrested and his company is shut down, to which they are very worried and stressed about. The Kingdom team is unable to maintain their focus and concentration when the match resumes and starts playing again. But Hijikata and the other players from Inazuma Japan tell Raniho not to worry about his family and that their family sent him here to play soccer not because they could keep their jobs at the company but because they genuinely wanted him and his teammates to be able to play soccer and enjoy the sport. After hearing that encouraging message, the real abilities and skills of the Kingdom team are unleashed and shown, and their coach, Leon Sams, states and declares that this is the true ability and power of the Kingdom team, and this time around, during the Amazon River tactic that they use, it is Raniho who is leading it instead of someone else. It becomes a wave of Hisatsu moves one after the other and also a wave of Hisatsu techniques that evolved and improved one after another during the intense play. In the end, Inazuma Japan wins the match with a final score and will now proceed and advance to the finals to play against either Orpheus or Little Gigant depending on who wins. Afterward, Inazuma Japan rushes to get to the match between Orpheus and Little Gigant to see if Fideo's team has managed to win the game. Though when they finally reach the stadium where the match is taking place, it has already ended and finished, and it has a very surprising score that shocks everyone who sees it, and the score is 0-8 with Orpheus losing badly and not scoring even a single goal, which the Inazuma Japan members absolutely cannot believe is real. After the match finishes and everyone leaves, Mamoru decides to go inside the locker room of the Orpheus team and sees them in terrible condition and badly beaten with bruises all over their bodies. Also, all of the team members seem to be feeling down and have low spirits about what happened. He sees that Hideyoshi Nakade is there comforting them and trying to make them feel better, and Mamoru joins in to comfort them also and show his support. Fideo talks and states that the match was an extremely hard match to play. First he mentions and states that the goalkeeper of Little Gigant did not even need to use any Hisatsu move to block the Hisatsu shot of Raphael during the game. Then Fideo continues talking and states that he really wants to fight against Mamoru in the finals no matter what happens, so even though Fideo is very tired and exhausted, he tries his best to get a goal by using his powerful move called Odin Sword, but the goalkeeper just blocks it easily even without using any Hisatsu technique. After telling this story, Fideo says that he doesn't have the right to be the captain of Orpheus anymore and wants to give back the captain position to Nakata, but Nakata responds and states that he should keep the position and remain as captain. Though even with all of Mamoru's comforting words and support, Orpheus is still feeling depressed and sad about their terrible loss. The next day, Mamoru sees Natsumi at Lyakot Airport and is very surprised to discover that Natsumi has now become a manager of the Little Gigant team. All of a sudden, a suspicious group launches a surprise attack on the Kotoril area located on Lyakot Island, creating chaos everywhere. Seeing this, both Little Gigant and Inazuma Japan immediately rush toward the scene to provide help, but they are shocked when they discover that Garshield himself is behind the attack and has even brought along his own powerful soccer team. During the intense match that follows, Mamoru struggles greatly and is unable to properly stop or block the fierce shots from Garshield's team of enhanced humans, even when using his special technique. At the same time, Mamoru's teammates continue pushing themselves to their limits on the field, running with determination and working together as hard as possible in order to create even a single scoring opportunity for their side. Meanwhile, from the sidelines, Mamoru, Daisuke, Rokoko, Natsumi, and the other supporters watch closely, all of them hoping and wishing that the team can show something amazing and prove their strength against the enemy team. While everyone else is tense and anxious, Natsumi remains calm and focused as she carefully observes Team Garshield's movements, quietly identifying their weaknesses and forming strategies in her mind, exactly as Daisuke had advised her to do during the match. Inazuma Japan is still unable to successfully send the ball into the goal, as Team Garshield's goalkeeper manages to block Torimaru's extremely powerful shooting technique called Gladius Arch after stopping the shot. the captain of Team Garshield charges forward with the ball and attempts to score a goal himself, creating a dangerous moment for Inazuma Japan. However, the new special move he tries to use is not strong or complete enough to fully stop the ball, and as a result, it passes straight through and goes into the goal behind him. Soon after this dramatic moment, the referee blows the whistle, signaling the end of the first half of the match, and the incomplete technique he attempted is later named God Catch. During the break, all of the players gather together on the field, where Daisuke explains the strategy that Natsumi carefully developed while observing the match during the first half. When the players hear the details of the plan, they are completely shocked and surprised by how bold it is. According to Natsumi's strategy, Tobitaka and Kabiyama are assigned to move forward as attackers, while the usual forwards, Shuya and Torimaru, are repositioned into the midfield to support the play. At the same time, Fudo and Kazamaru switch roles and take on defensive positions to strengthen the back line. The next day, Mamoru continues his intense training, determined to develop a brand new Hisatsu technique that he can use in the upcoming finals match. He begins by practicing with a tire once again, hoping to perfect his technique, but despite his efforts, he fails to make it work properly. Slowly, Fideo approaches from a distance, walking toward Mamoru, and when Mamoru turns around, he is surprised to see Fideo standing there quietly, watching him. Meanwhile, Kidu Yudo and Sakuma Jairu are running laps around the field as part of their own training, and during their exercise, they spot Gigi Blasi along with the entire Orpheus team observing from the sidelines. Fideo then speaks to Mamoru, asking him to continue training hard and to do his best to win the match, aiming to secure the top spot as the #1 team in the world. Mamoru and Fideo have a conversation about the upcoming challenge, and afterwards, Fideo reveals that he came specifically to help because Blasi had suggested that he assist Inazuma Japan in preparing for the finals. Gigi and Fideo explain that the movements of Little Gigant were perfect without any extra moves and their speed was really scary. When they tried their tactic, it did not work at all. To win against them, they have to stop the power and speed of Little Gigant. Orpheus will have a practice match against Inazuma Japan to show them how Little Gigant fights. Though, it will only be a 15-minute match and Fideo scores the first goal with Odin Sword Kai. Mamoru's Hisatsu is still not complete and is unable to catch it. Kidu breaks through and uses Kudai Penguin and Shuya uses Bakanetsu Screw to score. The next day, Inazuma Japan gets a call from Raimon in Japan, where they are surprised to see how many members the team has now. Handa explains that the fact that most of the Inazuma Japan players are from Raimon has made them popular and the number of soccer club members increases every single day. They also show the new clubroom that was rebuilt by the chairman, which most of the materials came from the old clubroom that they used before. The Raimon team cheers for them and Mamoru and the Inazuma Japan players thank them for their support. Later on, Kidu, Samoka, Gran, and Kazamaru are seen practicing on the field and Fubuki comes to join them. Working hard for Raimon, Fubuki thinks that the Hakuran team may feel the same way about their team. Then they talk about Mamoru and how he has grown stronger as a player. The rest of the Inazuma Japan players, except for Mamoru and Shuya, come to practice. Back then, when Mamoru was still a kid, he was cleaning the house for the New Year's Eve celebration. In a large cabinet, he finds a notebook and when he reads it, he feels shocked as if he was struck by lightning. His mom is against it, but his stubborn nature makes his dad convince her to let Mamoru play the sport. Entering junior high school, he decides to join a soccer club. He finds out that there is no soccer club at his school. So, he creates a soccer club, together with his classmate, and they find an old clubroom to use. Then the two of them clean the room and wait for more members to join, and for the whole year, there are only 3 of them, with Samoka and Handa as members. On the following day, everyone on Inazuma Japan begins training harder than ever before as they prepare themselves seriously for their upcoming match, knowing that this match will be the final one they are going to play. The managers support the team by cooking meals for the players, making sure they have enough energy to continue their intense training. During this time, Hibiki has a conversation with Kudu and tells him that he has fully entrusted the team to him and believes he is the right person to lead them forward. After that, Natsumi and Mamoru have a quiet discussion together, talking about the match and what lies ahead for the team. As their discussion continues, Mamoru confidently explains that he is genuinely looking forward to the upcoming match, and the calm yet excited tone he carries ends up greatly surprising Natsumi as she listens to him speak. Shortly after this brief but meaningful moment, the match officially begins, and the first half starts with strong tension filling the field. At the start of the game, Inazuma Japan immediately attempts to score by using the powerful shooting technique Bakanetsu Screw, but their effort fails when they are unable to get the ball into the goal. Without giving up, they quickly follow up by trying to break through the opposing team's defense using the Route of Sky tactic, Yet this plan also fails as the defense successfully shuts it down. Then, in a shocking turn of events, Little Gigant responds by using their own well-prepared tactic, and soon after, they manage to score a goal cleanly and successfully. Watching this, Natsumi carefully analyzes the situation and states that God Catch is still incomplete and not yet fully ready to be used effectively in the match. The match starts, and in the first half Inazuma Japan uses a Hisatsu to try to take a point, but Rococo uses God Hand X and blocks it very easily without any trouble. Then afterwards Rococo kicks the ball from far away, but Mamoru stops the shot and realizes it is a challenge from Rococo to him. Then Drago uses his move called Double Jaw and scores the first point for his team. Everyone watching is surprised, and finally Little Gigant attacks using one Hisatsu after another in quick succession, but Mamoru cannot seem to block any of them successfully. The other players help him block the shots by forming a circle in front of the goalpost to protect them, but many players get injured because of doing this. Then Coach Kudu reminds him that he is the captain of the team. Afterwards, he understands what Coach Kudu meant by his words and becomes able to block the move of Little Gigant with his new Hisatsu move called God Catch that he developed. Now it is Inazuma Japan's turn to attack the other team. Gran brings out his brand new Hisatsu move called Tenku Otoshi and wins a point for Japan, and the first half ends with Inazuma Japan and Little Gigant tied with each other. The match then continues with Rococo being the goalkeeper, and the ball gets back to Inazuma Japan's possession. Seeing that happen, Fideo thinks that just like Mamoru makes up the center of Inazuma Japan, that is how Rococo is pulling Little Gigant forward and leading them. The match then continues with Little Gigant playing very aggressively and attacking hard, but when Fubuki kicks the ball away from Little Gigant players, Mamoru shoots the ball toward the goal. The shot, however, is too strong for Rococo to handle properly, and it enters the goal successfully past him. The game ends immediately right after the goal is scored into the net. For a few seconds, the whole stadium is completely quiet and silent without any noise. Inazuma Japan looks at one another in disbelief and shock, and then suddenly yells out in happiness as the realization comes to them and they won the FFI tournament and are now on the top of the world of soccer. While Little Gigant is disappointed that they lost the game to them, Daisuke praises them for their hard work and such a great game they played, and the team ends up feeling satisfied with their performance. Before Fideo and Rococo leave Liaquat Island and return to their home countries, Mamoru talks to them at the airport and says goodbye to them, hoping to see and play with them again in the future. Afterward, the players get back home and start getting ready for their graduation ceremony, and everyone recalls their entire journey together. On the other hand, Natsumi thinks about her experience with the team as well and how good it has been. During the graduation ceremony, everyone receives their certificates and they all start sobbing when Mamoru receives the award on stage. Later that same day, there is a match between Inazuma Japan players and the other players of Raimon and other players like Fudo, Sakuma and Kidu, and Ichinos also arrives to watch the match happening. How long do you think it will take for Mamoru and Inazuma 11 to become true world champions? Comment Fire Tornado if you'd like a part 2 of the series. As usual, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.